All right. And we are both live. The Last Word with Ebontis, episode number 50. What is up with that, E?
I know. We actually got the 50.
50. Shout out to Vagabondo who brought it to my attention. He was like, so that means you guys been doing it for a year now, huh? Only
Pretty
2 weeks in.
much. We probably had like a couple, holidays and things. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I got to look back and see when one was. And I don't even know if I know. But it's been pretty much right on a year. So it's been a crazy year. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Crazy year. Good stuff going on in these looter shooter genres. So much to talk about. Yeah, man, it's been an interesting week for me. I mean, I've been so busy with other stuff that Ebontis knows about that I shall not disclose at this time. But yeah, man. So I haven't got a chance to do much gaming as much as I wanted to. But I'm actually give it to you, like what you've been able to tackle this week gaming wise.
For me has been a little bit of Iron Banners, actually playing a little bit of my Hunter, trying to get him
Nice.
somewhat leveled up towards the 650 range. I think he's like 645, so close.
Close.
I mean, and there's a point where I'm like, it's fine if I'm not quite there. But just trying to play through a little bit. I know I'm going to be spending some time in Shattered Throne again this week, just trying to do it on a couple other classes because that's a big request I get. So trying to see about potentially another solo. I don't know if I'll go full on flawless. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I don't think I'll break my head over it. But potentially a couple solo runs there. But been playing a decent amount of Anthem in downtime. Enjoying that week. We've got some stuff to talk about there as changes were made. Events have already happened, which has kind of been crazy. And then just all in all, yeah.
Yes,
I'm getting my head wrapped around these two a little bit, and then we know we've got even more coming. There's never enough time in the day. So
absolutely, man. Yeah, same bit. I mean, the few times I got a chance to touch a controller or a keyboard, I finished that. I snuck in on Crimson Days right before the transition to Iron Banner, and I got a lot of Crimson Days in because I got the bow. Shout out to Stone. Shout out to bro. He had helped me get the bow, and we worked that out. And then a couple of days later, I jumped on solo, and I really I did it for the Shaq's bonus gift basket. Where he gives you extra stuff if you have those confectionery hearts. And I was very disappointed.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, what's up?
What is going on?
Go for it. What you got?
Sorry, I had a stream error.
No worries, man. We live. That's what happens when you're live.
Yeah,
Breaking Blade. What's going on, man? Always catching one live for the first time. That's what's up. Salute, bro.
Well, no, my stream literally.
Yeah, I see the arrow. I see it going on.
Yeah.
No worries, man. We will figure it out. See what it is. You got that new cheetah icon on your thing.
Oh yeah,
your Twitch. So it's messing up the algorithm. I'm messing with you.
No, you're good.
It's all good, bro. We'll figure it out. We shall figure it out. But I'll ramble while you're doing that.
I was like, hold on, I'm trying to get back, so I got something to record too.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I should be back.
Yeah, you're back in the building, baby. You back.
There we go. All right, sorry guys.
It's all good, man. So yeah, like for me, it's just been like I said, I did the Crimson Gaze, and I was trying to get, like I said, the Vagabondo. There was a cheetah and then just sitting around a campfire. We have returned for our telepathic looter shooter talk. But yeah, so I was doing that, and I was just trying to get some extra gifts from that Shaq's confectionery heart gift box thing.
Oh,
and yeah, he was kind of whack to me, man. Like he didn't. I think the first time I tried it when I was with Stone, he gave me like a masterwork core, enhancement core, and then everything else was like blues and a whole bunch of other planetary materials. And I'm like, what? And I did it like 4 times because I wanted to basically get rid of that currency since it was going to be useless at the end of the event.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So they didn't go too well for me with that, but I had a ton of fun with what you call it, with Crimson Days, and it just goes to show you, and it's a competitive 2v2 mode. sometimes people like it. And nah, I had a good partner, and it was really cool. Some good rando. We were just really wrecking shop doing that.
Oh, nice.
Touch a little Iron Banner, and a slight Anthem, not much. You know what I'm saying? I even got a chance to play since the new patch, so I actually lean on you when we get to that. And then yeah, let's just get into what we got to talk about, man.
Yeah, we got a TWAB that actually has something to talk about, which is a little bit of a change sometimes, I feel like.
Yes.
But this week at Bungie came out, and of course the graphic at the top is the Drifter's crazy ship towing his, we don't know what the heck he's towing. His crazy taken planet ball of, who knows what he's towing around. I really have no idea. So I'm honestly hopefully curious we get to figure something out when it comes to Season of the Drifter, just to know what the heck's going on with him, because he's this like, you know, questionable figure, wants us to like get all these little taken motes, build up his little energy ball, like we're just storing up some little battery for him to cause the I don't know idea. So but to get started, we are nearing the end of the Season of the Forge. It's not like the content's going to go anywhere. Annual Pass will keep going. But to wrap up this season, Bungie does want to do a raid along, which these are always cool.
Nice.
If you haven't ever checked any of them out before, they're just really cool to watch, to get in the eyes of the raid guys, to see what they're talking about when they go through an encounter, what's going on. The raid's been out there for a couple months now, so if you're thinking spoilers, it's a little late for that. So, but yeah, it'll be Tuesday, February 26th, basically next reset, and it's 10 to 12, so Pacific time. So for me, nice time for me to get home and have something to watch while I'm working on some videos. So that'll be good.
Absolutely, I gotta check this out. Yeah, I definitely like the raid alongs, and you know, shout out to Pyro because he's a big raid guy, and
yes,
you know, it's really cool to see the thought process, to really see what the mentality was. And there's a couple of sections I die in when they get to the Indiana Jones part, I call it, when you got to escape the evil servitor on your Sparrow, and it's pretty cool. Graphic God, good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, so it's you know, I'm definitely looking forward to those. Are very interesting to me. Raids are very important, you know, to Destiny, and I love hearing that commentary regarding it.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't ever checked one of these out before, it will be live. But if you don't catch it live, literally just go to Bungie's YouTube page later. They always post their stuff up. So, but I mean, you get to see like what their thoughts in a fight are, how this boss came to be. Some of the stuff and the iterations they go through on these things are kind of bananas. Like we get to see a little bit behind the scenes of just like, hey, this boss used to be this way, the mechanics were this way, and then this accidental thing happened. When there was an interview, I can't remember what podcast or where I saw it. It was something with Gambit, and like the primeval wasn't even a thing for a while. Like it didn't even exist. So that's kind of one of those things you're like, I can't even picture Gambit without it. So it's just interesting to hear like stuff like that would be complete game changers. So check it out, watch it later. These are always tuning in for.
Shout out to Lord Dizzy in the building, up early for his division slander.
Yeah, it's just you know, keeping it all in check. So no worries. I was catching up on my time in the Iron Lords podcast, and that was rather entertaining as well. I was talking to Cognito about that offline. So those guys were getting into it.
Crackdown drama.
Oh man. Speaking of getting into it, all right. It is our first tease for the Season of the Drifter. And it's finally here. Now, we don't get a huge chunk of info, but we got a little bit. They're working on some quality of life improvements for Gambit, since that is the overall focus and kind of the Drifter's main piece. So senior designer Robbie Stevens, speaking on behalf of the team, talking about a couple things they wanted to do. So these are the changes that you can expect, probably some others as well. Full patch notes will tell you. But changes the Gambit for Seeds of the Drifter. So they want to address some of the top feedback they've been talking about. And probably one of the biggest things I've been hearing about isn't even listed here. So I'm really hoping they kind of touch on some of that stuff later. Again, not all inclusive, but like sitting here thinking, I was like, I read through this and then I'm like, there's a big part we didn't get, but excuse me. So first thing, change the third round of Gambit to a primeval rush, sudden death. This will speed up Gambit matches overall and add a change to the pace of the final round. First off, man, what do you think of that?
That's interesting. I want to know how that's implemented. So basically, the third round when I hear the terminology primeval rush sudden death, does that mean it's an automatic primeval entry
That's what I
point?
have to assume. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
probably like load the round, and it maybe just like me. I don't know if it's gonna go back where like he talks to you guys and be like, all right, it's primeval rush time, and you
Right.
literally run out and you go, or if it's
Mhm.
just like, if the round ends and you probably have to go back talk to him. But yeah, I think it's just gonna be straight up
Mhm.
primeval spawned in, and maybe there's a tweak to it. But yeah, it's just no collected motes, just go at it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it adds a different type of mechanic and I guess a little tension. I guess when I see that kind of a thing, it kind of puts me in a, the meatball has appeared mentality.
Yeah, oh
You know what
no,
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
So it could be interesting because I'm assuming, like you said, like there won't be any moat gathering phase, right? During that period. It
Right.
looks like both will be out. So yeah, I think this is interesting. I like the mindset behind it. I will say this. I have to see how it plays out, but I like the mindset because let's be honest, as much as I love Gambit matches be long.
Oh yeah, if you go and that's the thing is if you go to 3, oh
Mhm.
man, it's like 25 minutes. It feels like it's like
Bro,
half an hour for one. You're like, I'm never gonna get the infamy I need. It's just
I
not
agree.
happening.
I agree. And I think it may end up being a good call. I'm willing to give this a shot. I know that this actually fundamentally changes Gambit. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, we have to see how it plays out. But I think my gut is telling me, yeah, this might be a good call. So we'll see how it
It's like
goes.
it's like I mean, if you do still
Mhm,
2 rounds organized, you melt them down,
mhm,
you'll never even have to worry about
mhm,
the rush. But I mean, if you go 1-on-1, just
mhm.
speed through, see what
Yeah,
happens. So I'll be
yeah.
curious. Yeah, it's like I like at least how it gives.
Mhm,
If you go 1-on-1, you're like, oh, I had a really crappy first round,
mhm,
powered through, got the next one, then you just like jump right into the deep end and finish it up. So, um,
mhm,
that's first piece. Overhauled how they choose invader spawn locations and increase the number of invader spawn points on each map.
mhm.
Extremely good. They
Yes.
should greatly reduce the chances of spawning very near or directly in the sight line of an enemy guardian.
Mhm.
So, another big piece. I don't know about you. I don't know if you've ever like invaded and been like insta wiped or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You definitely want a fighting chance on your invasion, and yeah, listen, fixing spawns, always a fan of. So yeah, I'm good with this. Let's continue.
Yeah. Now, before we move on though, since we're
Mhm.
talking about invaders right now,
Yes, sir.
this is the only thing they mentioned on invaders. And one of the
Um,
biggest pieces
mhm.
that people have had feedback on that is not mentioned here, and that's why I was like, I know this is not all
Talk to
encompassing,
me. Talk to me.
is how the invader is how powerful the invader is when they come through. You have the overshield, so you're
Mm,
already extra powerful. You have the, wall hack, God vision to
mhm,
look constantly.
mhm,
And it's like people are just like, they want some type of tweak so the invader is not just able to wreck. Now
mhm.
they've got some tweaks in the sandbox we'll talk about a little bit later, which should help somewhat
Yeah.
with this, but still just the fact that the invader has overshield, knows exactly where you are, still have the ability to like know when
Mhm,
you're going to peak and things like that.
mhm.
I mean, I haven't touched Gambit that much, but just I
I touch
mean,
a lot of Gambit.
we played it enough to
Yeah,
know that like what are your thoughts on changes that the invader could like need to make it, either more balanced, more fair? Is it
mhm.
good as it is? What do you think?
I might surprise you. I'm actually okay with it. The only reason why I guess is because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you just look at it from a pure balance perspective, it's still 4v1. Yes, he's coming in there with a little armor and the OSHA. I make no mistake, yeah, he's definitely tanky. There's no doubt about it. If they want to tweak the armor, I guess, because I wouldn't mind. Put it this way, I wouldn't mind if they tweaked his armor per se and be upset, but he kind of needs an advantage on the invasion because again, if I know me, when I hear the invader is on your field, like I stop what I'm doing, I get behind a tree and I'm like, where is he? I'm gonna go get him now. like literally, like that's what I do. I mean, I get that's my mentality when I hear the
Oh,
drifter
me
says that.
too. Trust me.
So again, comment and think about if we're expert level, we're not even expert level, but if we're above average and you play that way, Raid ain't gonna really have much unless he's got one of those broken weapons that we shall discuss
Hmm.
later. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he has one of those, then it gets nasty. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm okay. I'm under the impression that you feel he needs to be tweaked?
I mean, that's just a lot of the feedback I've heard over time. Listening to the podcast, seeing comments out there on Twitter, it is one of those things. A common one I've heard is either one or the other, whether it's a lower shield, whether it's, I think one of the big ones I've heard mostly is that the vision through walls should be like a pulse. Like, so you know an idea where to go. You're not just like, I mean, there's a big map. If I like start on one side and I'm like looking around and I don't know where to go, that does kind of take, you only do have 30 seconds. It's still a short time.
The other thing, he only has 30 seconds, and it's still 4 people. And if he gets a bad spawn, it's a tough one. I know I'm not saying your mindset's wrong. I hear where you're going. The person has an advantage. He has the wall hack. He's tanky. He has that armor. But I mean, I can only speak for myself. When I've invaded, I don't invade a lot, to be honest. But when I have invaded, I've had times I'm like, damn, I didn't even get a chance to do that. like they had me dead to rights. So like, dang it, kind of thing. Let's see. But I wouldn't be upset either way as long as it's not too heavy-handed a nerf if they decide to go that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the invader needs to still feel like they can, make a swing in the game, take people out with modes. Like, definitely jump in there, kill some people. I mean, I go there. It's like if you got decent heavy drops, you'll go across the side with Thunderlord or something like that. You can absolutely wreck some face. Like machine guns, I don't know if they're going to get touched. I actually don't want them to because I love how powerful they are for the heavy weapon slot. But man, machine guns are so powerful now. I mean, you're not going to hit as quick and precise at range as like a linear fusion, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But man, I can just ruin some people with Thunderlord. It's not even it's not even funny. So, that's one of those pieces where I don't know. Like, if they don't touch what the invader is, I'll be kind of curious if the game still feels kind of samey. I know they're touching the sandbox. I know they've got the Primeval Rush, but if Gambit doesn't have too much of a change, and we got some other ones coming, just the invasion part, I think, needs some kind of tweak.
Okay.
I don't know what.
You don't know
whether like something a little more, maybe something a little less. Maybe you invade, you have like at least one bullet of heavy, or if you go through, like it maybe recharges a couple of your abilities or something. I don't know. Like,
so you feel the invader is really powerful in your experience. You feel like the invader really is doing a lot of damage.
It's kind of one of those things. It depends, and that's where I think the spawns will be beneficial to almost help, not too much, but really give you a chance. But if I have that chance, and if I can get to the point where I push them a little bit, and I can drop like one or two, they get all hidey in the back and stuff like that, and I can just shut them down for like 30 seconds just for what, like, I mean, whether it's my pulse rifle, my go figure that I love, like just picking people off from range, like, especially if they're in the middle of a fight or anything, just one or two bullets with Thunderlord, they're done, and they don't even know what hit them. They can't, can't defend, and that is part of the invasion. It's like if you know the invader's coming, you hear it, you better get your
that's what I'm trying to say. Like, he's really at a disadvantage.
And then I've had the teams like turtle in, and it's like that's hard to do. Like, if they turtle up and they go nothing but just like, all right, come at us, we're a full group, you're probably gonna melt it if you get in there. And that's the point for you as the invader to be like, I'm just gonna hang out here and I'm just gonna shut you down for a little while. We're just gonna be at a stalemate, but they can't do anything. And that's sometimes just as powerful as killing them just because they can't do anything. So I don't know. It's like I know they've got changes. I'm curious to see if there are other changes that come, but I'm just surprised they didn't even address it because it has been a pretty predominant piece of feedback I've heard.
Interesting. That's funny. I mean, you would know, more than me as far as, the outcries of the community on that aspect. I really don't, like I said, as much as I play Gambit, I don't really follow, I know the things that I heard the most were actually like melting the primeval strats.
And that's a different one we'll get to.
Right. So that I've heard. I heard people yelling from the rooftops and stuff like that. But I really haven't heard anybody say, at least from my experience, hey, these invaders are out here. Unless it's pertaining to a specific weapon, like the Reign of the Sleeper, now the Reign of the Queensbreaker. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's see. The implemented idle protection, which means that players remain dormant for too long, will not receive end of game rewards or infamy points. I know that's one of those things where they're not going to get the infamy points at the end of game rewards, but
Mhm.
like the if you lose a person in Gambit, you are at such a disadvantage for the ability to like pick up motes, have an extra person, just shooting bullets out there to get things to go. If you lose that person, it really hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Mhm.
don't know, and that's one of those where if you
Huge.
if you don't start at a full, which is where my brother and I started the other day, which was hilarious because we actually came back and won. I was like, guys, we were a two-man group for a little while, and
Uh,
you still lost both matches.
wow, you playing
Like,
some
we
real.
got some people like paired. We were like, I mean, we probably went through the first deposit with just he and I. We had somebody come in for a third. They didn't really invade too hard, so they kind of let us like kind of do okay. And then we had a couple other people join in. Primeval came in. I invaded, slowed them down just enough. My brother went for the melt, won the first round, and the second one they didn't have a chance. And I was just like, what just happened?
Yeah, that you guys are beasting.
But on the other side, like if you start with two or you lose somebody in it's one of those things where it's like they're always so worried about, infamy points or awards or things like that. Like one of those things where if you lose somebody or it drops, you
Mhm.
should not have like say a streak, taken away. If you win, cool. If you don't lose your streak. Little stuff like that
Yeah,
that, would help along with this like idle protection. You can't control everything, so
yeah,
don't
absolutely.
screw a team over that has somebody get, lost.
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
Next one, the Triumph Light versus Light, which I actually don't know what that is. Can now be progressed by killing Guardians using a super, not just invaders.
Yeah.
Nobody invades with supers anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
I sometimes do, but
Mhm.
most people, if you got heavy, still probably better.
Yep. Yep.
So getting the Dredgen title a little better, which is good. They still
Mhm.
haven't addressed the RNG part of titles, which is
Yeah,
a
that part's
whole
rough.
thing.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
get
rough.
to that a little bit later here.
Mhm.
And then the final piece is adjustments to blocker types. While I clear up my voice here, you want to take this for a sec?
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, so adjustment to blocker types by deposit tier. So the small blocker will be the taken goblin with less health than the previous phalanx. So phalanx. Why am I can't I pronounce that? Whatever. Phalanx. There we go. So more health than that. So it's gonna be a goblin now. So that's interesting. Medium blocker, taken captain with more health than the previous knight. That's going to be interesting. And large blocker will be the taken knight with more health than the previous ogre. So the ogre and phalanx are out of there. That's it. It's a wrap now. Now they when you put that blocker in, you're getting different results. So this is interesting. He says those changes arrive with the season of Drifter to get you in for ready for the change of seasons. We're enabling triple infamy for the final week of season of the Forge, and that's going to be on the 26th. So yeah, I mean, what do you feel about that? Like per se, as far as the blocker types now changing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It makes me wonder. It's like the 5 stack is going to feel pretty
Mhm.
weak.
Mhm.
Goblins of all things, it's not even like you have a captain, so you got a pretty good side, and taking captain
With more
with
health.
the with more health and also the floating ball of doom. That's going to get annoying, by the way.
Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to think. Refresh me now. Why am I blanking on the captain? Why am
Solar
I?
shield, taking
Mhm.
flying black ball of doom. Picture
Yeah.
Whisper of the Worm, first room. Those are the couple taking captains are in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's gonna be annoying.
Yep.
So basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to encourage that 10 to the 15 stack.
Yeah, the bigger deposits
'Cause
for
what
sure.
is a goblin gonna do?
See, that's the thing. It feels like misweighted, and I don't
Yes, I
know.
agree. I agree. I don't like this goblin better be doing something. I mean, and he's
It's
got
like I
less.
don't know if he's got like a grenade launcher or
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like what would be a better fit would be a sniper, like
Yes.
a hobgoblin or a vandal. One of those two
Mm,
would give like the ranged fight, like getting back in there a bit harder, and they could do some more at range. The captain, a little beefier guy with health, a black floating ball is like that's gonna suck.
right.
But the goblin feels like so weak in
So
comparison. Just like, but I guess also if you throw down 4 or 5s, I'm like, like a couple headshots with malfeasance and all those guys are dead. Like I can't pick with less health than the phalanx. Phalanx
yeah.
weren't that hard to kill if you got around their shield.
Yeah. I don't
So I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. And it's just one? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
one. It's not even like a pair. Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you're gonna do something annoying, put like 4 scions up there, so then they start splitting like crazy. Like that'd be small, but if you don't manage them, then it would get bad.
yeah,
So
I
that I could see almost more to where like the potential could be there if you don't manage your middle section.
mhm,
Um, but you have a captain for the medium with
mhm,
more health than the knight. The knight had a decent amount of health. The captain probably will have a shield if it is a taking captain, which most will. And then now you have a knight without a shield
mhm.
with more health than the ogre. Now I hope the knight on this one is actually bigger, which would be cool. If it's like a big beefy dude walking around.
Yeah.
Um, that'd be kind of fun. But again, what's the knight do? Is it a boomer? Is it a
They gotta be specific.
flamethrower?
They gotta be specific.
Kind of,
What it seems to me, they were not happy with the ogre. You know what I'm saying? And for all intents and purposes, yeah, you can kind of finesse the ogre, just a crit spot, move around, get him out of there. I mean,
yeah,
he just had a lot of health, right? You just had to deal
yeah.
with health, but he wasn't really hard to deal with per se. But I think I get that mentality, but I'm back with you with the small blocker. I don't understand that thought process because it's like to me, you're just discouraging people from doing the small block. It's like they don't want the small blocker to go down because it's really useless. Like that's not going to stop the opposing team.
No, goblin just walk up like that
Yeah,
doesn't even take like any substantial amount of ammo to get rid of. Like if you're gonna go in for, a captain, you're gonna have to burn through some shotgun ammo or a heavy if you're gonna take out the knight. Like that's gonna take something. But
yeah,
yeah, those 5 shots they're really trying to steer you away from that, which is interesting.
yeah. Peace King, King's in the building. Crackdown 3, hot
Yeah,
fire,
good. Oh
hot
my
fire is in the
god.
building.
Oh, King, you were killing me, absolutely killing me. But we'll talk about that later. So one thing about this does make me wonder and kind of wish that, like Gambit, they have they're changing up the small blockers to be certain things, and I know that kind of has strategies. But why do the blockers always have to be these set
Mhm.
things? Oh, why are they always just these three? Why can you have
Mm,
sometimes they're ogres, sometimes they're knights, sometimes they're captains, sometimes they're failing, sometimes they're goblins?
good point.
You have a lot of enemy types. Why is it just 3?
Good point. Good
Like, I mean, if you want variety in a game, this is the season of Drifter. You're trying to beef this thing up. I
point.
mean, give it a variety. It's like that is one of those pieces that makes that whole dynamic of gameplay something that could be cool to watch.
Hmm.
Um, and unfortunately, if it's just the same 3, you don't have to adapt in the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
I mean, have we confirmed that these are the season of the Drifter? Because I'm assuming, didn't they say that season of the Drifter was going to have fundamental changes to game? But are these said changes, or
These seem like some of them. I mean, it
yeah,
doesn't seem like everything because they're gonna have more introductions next week. I don't know if it's like another mode, more quests, or who knows what the other stuff is going to be. We'll get that next week. But right now, excuse me, this feels like a good chunk of it.
yeah? So maybe this is it. I mean, interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, it's switching it up, but I agree. It needs to be more drastic. I would like that random enemy type on the blocker, like you said. That
Yeah,
would be really cool. I would definitely like that, and then just why eliminate those other types completely? You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Forte. He was like, I guess they want you to be intentionally with your banks. Yeah, the vibe I got Forte is just that, like, yeah, they don't want you running with the 5 moats and just going over there and like, hi, like they want it to be about a banking situation. So we'll see. Shout out to Chris Cover, D2 season of the nerfs. Oh my god, they're out of control in the chat right now. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. This is an interesting design choice. We shall see.
yeah, it's just kind of one of those that it's. We'll get to kind of thoughts on the Drifter stuff. Sees the Drifter here in just a little bit, but yeah, it's like it feels like a missed opportunity mostly.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, hopefully that I'm hoping that these are not all the changes, right? And that these are just part of what they intend to do. Because it just seems light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it says below is a sneak peek of changes we made based on community's feedback. Expect more details, additional quality of life changes for Gambit when it drops on the 5th. So there's going to be more in the patch notes, but honestly, this tease is lacking in quite a few things. So, and if they're saying something pretty like firm, saying, "Hey, the blocker types are this," that's what it feels like. I mean, feels like they're leaving at least a big idea there on the table. So, just me though.
I'm with you. I'm with you, man.
But yeah, triple infamy. If you do want to grind that stuff out before the changes happen, it's up to you. But if you're trying to get titles or anything like that, definitely this is your time over the course of next week, which is the final reset.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think actually now. Like, so like, okay, so I know Captain bigger, Knight bigger, but like, what would you have as a small blocker? What do you think? Like,
I was cool with I mean, if they want to beef it up, I mean, I felt like they didn't need to get rid of the ogre. Like, I'm not gonna say put the ogre on at the small blocker, but I'm
no,
saying like they could have had the knight as the first one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been cool with that either knight, and you know, then from there keep the ogre as I guess the middle and stuff like that. To be honest, the main thing, shout out to King, he's like they need to make Gambit great again. The main thing I like about the change though, I'm a huge fan of round 3 sudden death, forget banking, everyone has to kill. You know, I like that because Gambit, fundamentally, as much as I love the mode, takes way too long. You know what I'm saying? So at least if you get a 2-round dominant, match is over. If it's not, and it goes to that sudden death round, forget the moats. It's up. Primary was up. You know, you guys are invading on both sides, and it just becomes a quick, you know, whatever.
just
And
like,
yeah, you know,
after that last round,
King just made a good point as far as the small blocker. Like, I wouldn't say fallen. He's got a mob of fallen, but I would say like, yeah, it should have been like a mob of the little goblins, kind of like how when you do the first with Cali, you know how you do Cali, then you step on the plates, the Cali and last switch raid, and then you know how they swarm you when you're moving from plate to plate.
Yeah,
it should have been a bunch of those at least. Don't just give me one goblin and be like, you know. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. What about you? You know, as far as what you thinking about with that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of like the idea of multiple small things. That kind of gives a little more variety. If you actually do dump a lot of small ones, that strategy is, yeah, you can probably burn through them. But if you have like 6, 8, you know, enemies in the middle, Scion splitting sounds terrifying. I still hate those things.
Yeah.
Bad memories on some Scion moments, so that's a thing. But yeah, that small blocker, I would like, yeah, at least like 2 goblins per, because I feel like one is so weak, it's not worth anything. Like, there should be something to it. And if you did 2 and you put 8 goblins in the middle, it's still not that bad to manage, but it is going to take you a second to think, okay, 8 shots coming at me, that could actually take a second, or at least make me think of how open I want to be if I've got 8 bullets coming at me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you.
So,
We'll see. I'm gonna reserve. I want to go in on them like this is light, but I'm gonna reserve judgment until we get that full Season of Drifter patch list changes, because I'm hoping they're still holding things back, and this is just kind of like a sneak preview on some things, kind of deal.
oh man, some of the ones on my site, a bunch of exploding thralls, like curse thralls, a pack of them just sitting there. Now that would be trouble later on, like if you're sitting there trying to burn down the boss, and then you get a shotgun on the boss, and all of a sudden they drop a small blocker and it's exploding throws, and it just clears all you guys out in the middle. That'd be an interesting strategy.
For even thinking that exploded throws. Oh, that would work though. It would have
because you hear that sound, you're like, oh crap, where are they at? Like every time. So
that's actually
also a bunch of acolytes that start spawning the acolyte eyes as well. Like, you wait too long, that's gonna get like that could be.
Them acolytes are vicious.
Oh man, you go, because with Shattered Throne, you see them a lot in there, and it's like they're all about those acolyte eyes, especially in that first area, the Erebus, like all the different symbols and stuff. Man, those acolytes are just like I like all the time.
Forte's with you. He said that's what they do at the final boss for the Shattered Throne, and Scions everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good ideas by the chat, man. Chat is lit.
Yeah, so Gambit in the Infinite Forest. Yeah, Dizzy, that's one thing I'm really waiting on to see, because they said there's going to be new Gambit maps. They definitely, I want to see some variety in here. That'd be kind of cool. So yeah, I was like, that's a tease for Season of the Drifter, at least for Gambit changes. Obviously not all encompassing, but it's a start. So next week we'll probably get like a Vidoc, I'm guessing, maybe some info in the TWAB about modes, and then patch notes is going to be everything. So,
oh yeah. So what we got next? Is that my favorite word? Next?
Next? What?
That my
The
favorite.
sandbox. I'm gonna go ahead and just let you jump in on this one. The sandbox action is all yours. So Cognito, take it away, sir. Sandbox time.
Therefore, man, salute to Bungie. You know I love me some sandbox changes. All right, what we got? So alongside the Gambit quality of life changes, our sandbox team will be fine-tuning some weapon archetypes to refresh the gameplay experience in Destiny 2. Clap your hands. Love to hear this. The following is a quick preview of some changes coming with Destiny Update 2.2.0 with developer commentary from sandbox designer Victor Anderson. Linear fusion rifles. These energy weapons have dominated Gambit from quite some time. That is true. First came Sleeper Simulant, then came Breaker. We've made them less forgiving so we can enjoy a change of pace. So, linear fusion rifle aim assist values will receive an adjustment to reduce effectiveness at very long ranges. Woo-wee. While Queensbreaker has high assist values by default, we discovered an issue which it was not honoring aim assist values that apply to other linear fusion rifles of the same archetype. This resulted in Queensbreaker having over double the intended aim assist. And last point, linear fusion rifles will receive a 10% damage increase in PvE to compensate for the above changes.
So that
what
line. Oh,
do you think
keep.
about this?
I mean, being as I've been melted I haven't been like hardcore in Gambit in a while, but I
Mhm.
know there were times where if a team was organized or somebody was good with that thing, it makes sense that it like the double the aim assist as intended. Because I
Mhm.
mean, I know people are skilled at these guns. I've watched the streamers, I've watched people play, and yeah, it's like if you pull one of those out and it works, you're like, damn, I'm so good with this thing. It's like apparently it was like real good, like over the top. So I mean, and Sleeper was the same way. It's like you could shoot somebody in the toe and all of a sudden they just vaporize off the face of the planet. And you're like, it's a bit much. So but here's my
Was fatal. You didn't feel it was fatal.
I was like, I lost the pinky toe. I can't walk. So those little pieces, I mean, linear fusion rifles are fun. They're cool to use. They take a second to charge. You kind of gotta lead, you gotta, know where you're trying to shoot because they do take a second.
Mhm.
But in turn, what they could do cross map, and as most of the time you are cross mapped anyway,
Mhm.
they were really powerful. But
Yeah.
here's my issue with this, and
Oh.
this is why
Mhm.
there's some times where separation of these two things probably needs to happen. They
Mhm.
have to buff damage in PvE
Mhm.
because they're messing with aim assist and they don't want them to feel unpowerful,
Mhm.
and they can't split tweak these things.
Mhm.
And they have to always have this PvE, PvP, apparently now Gambit, like all these different balances for these modes.
Mhm.
And you get to a point where you're worried about,
Yeah.
anything getting out of hand so much, they have to be like, okay, we'll nerf it down here so you can't shoot as far. But if you
Mhm.
take it into PvE, you get 10% more bonus. But if you go into Crucible, it's just going to feel weird and blow up in your hand. Like,
Mhm.
um, it's just those times where the whole systems they have in place seem so interwoven.
Right.
I always wish there was a little more, they could compartmentalize stuff a little better.
No,
So
I hear your point. I mean, that's always been, you
it's
know,
Destiny.
yeah, that's always been the unfortunate juggling act that they have to play because of so many different modes. And I guess I trust me. I've heard this. Shout out to Bloody. He's actually a big person in the community that as far as I've had him on ILP last week that he was a huge Destiny fan. He went away from Destiny, and this was one of the reasons. And he really hates that aspect, like if they do a buff or a nerf, how it affects the other mode and stuff like that. And I get it. I think it's valid. I don't think anything he's saying is incorrect. For me, it's one of those things where it's just like I just love the fact the game got all these modes. So
Oh
me
no, I mean it's
personally,
nice to have the variety.
yeah, for me personally, it's one of those things that at least I like Destiny 2 this go around. That I noticed that whenever they make a change like this, they're quick to say, "Oh, but we're gonna buff it in this, or we're gonna buff it this way in PvE, or we're gonna anything that affects one." They seem to nerf buff in conjunction. I'm noticing in Destiny 2 so far. At least what I've seen in the short term, the last maybe 3 months, we've gotten a couple of like Telesto, right? Telesto got hit hard in
Oh,
PvP,
yeah.
right? But in PvE, my boys are telling me, I think it was Stone or somebody else I was talking to, maybe Scream or somebody that they were like, yo, Telesto is crazy good at PvE now because of that buff. You see what I'm saying? So it's a fine line. You know, it's gonna be one of those games, unfortunately. That's just the nature of Destiny, that because the way the sandbox is structured and it goes across all the different modes, you know, we're gonna have to deal with it. Is it to some people's liking? Not everyone. Not everyone likes it. To me, I don't stress this one as much, but it's back to the point with linear fusion. Yes, this needed to happen. You know, I warned everybody after they was coming for my sleeper. Queen Breaker was going to have to get it. Queen Breaker's got it. I think aim assist is actually the key value, because at the end of the day, it is long distance. It's those long distance ridiculous, you know what I mean? Snipes that, you know, it has to be more of a skill weapon. You know what I mean? As like a sniper. A sniper is a skill weapon, in my opinion. So if he gets that headshot, he deserved it. Give that man a round of applause. But Louis is just like, I love linears, you know, but let's be real, it's easy button.
Definitely easier for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, this needed to happen. I'm not too crazy about it, but that's what I got on that. But we're gonna get into shotguns.
There we go.
Yeah, shotguns. In the season of the Drifter, we are making a few changes to rapid fire shotguns and the full auto perk. We're doing this for a few reasons. One of them being that the full auto perk feels far too important to shotguns in PvE. This perk effectively doubles the damage output of any given shotgun due to the rate of fire increase. While we believe it is important to have useful perks on your weapons, the efficacy of this was so impactful that rapid fire shotguns became the only shotguns worth considering for PvE. When the following changes released in Shock Season of the Drifter, we hope you may have been inspired. You might be inspired to give an aggressive shotgun, or maybe even take a slug shotgun. Damn, I haven't seen one of those in a while. for a spin in PvE activity. So here are said buffs and nerfs. Shotguns will receive a damage multiplier in PvE activities, effectively doubling their damage. Legendary accuracy is an exception. I like that. Full auto rate of fire bonus for shotguns is now plus 10%, down from plus 100%. In addition, it's huge. In addition, it no longer increases the shotgun pellet spread. Then we have default rate of fire values for have also been shifted. So aggressives are 55 RPM. They're up from 45 RPM. Precision shotguns are 70 RPM, up from 55 RPM. Lightweights are 80 RPM. They were erroneously stated to be 90 RPM previously. And rapid fire, 140 RPM, way down from the 200 RPM. And those were previously natively 100 RPM, but due to the intrinsic full auto, they really were 200 RPM. And last two bullet points, also reduced damage for shotguns across the board to align with their new rate of fire on a per sub-archetype basis. And lastly, ammo reserves for shotguns were reevaluated due to the increased efficiency of having more damage per shot. This is a lot to unpack.
Seriously.
So let's start from the beginning. What do you feel about shotguns in general? And was any of this necessary in your opinion?
I mean, in PvE, yeah, full auto shotties, they're the only way to go. Quick pump out of damage. If you're going to make the risk to get in there, it's the only way to go. I'm not going to go take a single shot in there because it doesn't hit hard enough over the course of time, especially compared to a full auto where it's just like bam, 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 done. Like whatever you're trying to go in there and melt, you can probably do it. Or you're going to take a big chunk, get in and get out. You can't take that one shot. There's no hardly precision bonuses. If I go put a one shotgun shot in the middle of a night, one's not going to do much. 7 from a full auto, yeah, that does a lot. So,
and actually, I forgot one important part underneath the bullets. We also took the opportunity to slightly adjust shotguns for the Crucible. While shotguns will remain effective in the Crucible, we have toned down the range at what shotguns could secure a one-shot kill.
Shout out to Fallout plays and the science that man has to do again.
I know. Rest in peace, Fallout while playing videos.
Oh yeah, he's like science. Oh man.
Yeah, that's another one. Woo. What do you think, man?
So full auto going from 100% boost down to 10%.
Should we say RIP escalation protocol shotgun?
Like Ikelos is gonna be, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I mean, it does have trench barrel still.
It does have trench barrel, so it's still gonna get some more power, but it's gonna be like poof,
Poof.
poof, no, do. Like the speed is not gonna be there. So yeah, I mean this is kind of one of those things where you can't always buff everything forever.
Right.
But also it's like 100% down to 10%. You completely shift the way that feels. What if it was 50%? I guess maybe it's not enough and they did their testing, which I'm sure they did.
Absolutely.
Now they said in addition, no longer increases the shotgun pellet spread if you're full auto, which is a give and take. So I mean they did give something back there, but 90% speed reduction is so much. Like then you're at the point of, is there much of a point to it? Not really.
It depends. It depends. I mean, let's look at the alternative. I'm gonna give them some credit. The only reason why I'm curious, I think the trench barrel shotguns are gonna be okay. That's just my gut until we actually play. I mean, I'm just going by gut. I have no factual information.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I gotta be honest, like when EP shotgun was in my possession, bro, I don't even look at other shotguns.
No.
I don't even
look at other energy weapons.
Slug shotguns. I remember at one point, shout out to New Monarchy, Dizzy's in the chat. They had one because we New Monarchy brothers. But yeah, like they had a good one, and it was a slug shotgun, and it had a good roll, I believe, Rampage or something. It was a Suros one.
Good bone structure.
Kind of similar in that line, but it had one of those New Monarchy kind of names, Unification 7 or something.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
But that bad boy was good. You know what I'm saying? And so it's gonna be good to see what's up. Shout out to Dizzy. He said, "Oh, hail Hideo from New Monarchy." Yeah. Yes,
man.
That's my man. We go deep in the lore with our man Hideo. But yeah, man. So at the end of the day, it's like I will say, with aggressives going up, precisions going up, lightweights going up in RPM, because let's be honest, those shotties felt slow. They felt slow. The handling felt slow. So I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. I mean, I'm willing to give this a shot because we do need a little bit of weapon variety in terms of shotguns. I just feel that like everyone's out there. If you're not out there with your EP, you're out there with your Dust Rock. What's the other one? It's like the same. Like no one's running them other shotties. No one. Like I don't see them at all. Maybe once in a while you get a parcel of Stardust. You know what I'm saying? But that's just, again, my experience. What about your experience with shotguns and what you see?
I mean, for me, same thing as you're saying. Like the full auto was really good because you felt you could get the damage out to justify using that in a PvE situation, because the risk versus reward in PvE is I'm up in the face of so many things, like too many things in Destiny smash. They want a Hulk smash. So just the fact that they're not buffing the damage of any of the other slower, like the aggressives or the precisions, like buff that in PvE. If I'm going to get in there and I still get like one slow shot, like you're not helping the shotguns. That's what I was like. Shotguns were useful in PvE because you could get that damage dump of a full auto. What I would like, I mean, if you're going to bring down the rate of fire of some, bring the damage up of others. So you actually have a reason. And even if you got to split it, they will sometimes split PvE and PvP. So make it, if I go in there with like my retold tail and I do one shot with that thing, have it hit like a truck.
Are we missing something? Isn't first bullet? Let me go back. Aren't shotguns receiving a damage multiplier in PvE activities, effectively doubling their damage? So aren't we getting this? Except for Acreus. Acreus is insane. Acreus is ignorant. But if the first bullet point is to be true, then I would assume this is going to apply to the rest, right? Maybe.
I mean, I guess, but also it's like how much? They're like a damage multiplier. We know some of the multipliers they throw out there.
Yeah, this
can be tiny.
Yeah, this is Bungie with their.
So I don't trust that until I see like a number of like aggressives go 45 to 40 from 45 to 55 with a 50% damage buff. Like that's the type of number I want to see. And until then, I don't know if it's going to be enough, I guess is more way. It's not that it's not there. I guess I said that wrong because, but it's more the fact that I don't know if it's going to be enough to justify. Because again, that full auto 7-8 shots in that trench barrel, go in there, punch, bam, 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 get out while you reload. None of these are still going to have the capability to put that much damage out. And if the multiplier is not high enough, even if these are slower, it's got to be a giant. Sorry, I almost said something else.
Language.
Yeah, language. Sorry, Captain. It needed to be a huge buff to make it worthwhile. Because if I go in there like one shot, bam, that's it. And then I got to like, pump the shotgun and then go back in for number 2. It's gonna, I mean, maybe they're just trying to bring other like energy weapons in to be useful, things like that. But I don't know. I'll just have to see what those final numbers are. Because I still have my doubts. It's going to make me want to go take a retold tale, a precision or heavy hitting slow shotgun into anything in PvE that's going to be worthwhile.
No, I agree. And I think this is classic Bungie where we have these arbitrary buff, but we don't know what the specific gun is. Like, why can't they just tell us what the specific damage multiplier is? So it's interesting, but that's what we got. Shout out Scream. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, man. So basically, they're doing the I'm actually happy about the Crucible aspect because I'm dying to see how the range is reduced. Because sometimes, let's be real, like shotguns can get obnoxious. In the
they can, but man, they definitely don't all work the same. I have a retold tale. It's curated. Range masterwork. It's got threat detector. I've got 91 range on the thing, and it is a precision frame. I've got rifled barrel, so increased range, light mag. It's pretty solid. And there are times where I'm like, okay, I know I'm not the best at PvP. I'll watch myself play. I'm like, yeah, I have moments so I just suck. It's fine. But there are moments where I'm like, okay, you killed me with a shotgun and I killed you. And I'm pretty sure mine's got more range or at least as much as anybody's out there. And you didn't kill me with like a perfectly rolled like Duskrock Blues or like whatever the god rolls are. The other one of a retold tale. You didn't kill me with that, yet I didn't kill you. Sometimes back and forth, just I
feel you in that.
It's just it doesn't always feel right.
It's very inconsistent. And one thing, shout out to Fallout Plays. He's always said that shotguns do have a tendency to be inconsistent. But I agree. It's like I feel like it's one of those things. I'm totally agreeing with you. He's like you feel you always get killed by it, but you can't kill them with that same.
Oh my God, yes.
And I'm just like I don't get it. Like I think I'm doing everything right, and it's just like I don't have that range. Like it's just how I feel that way with the chaperone. People are mad at me with the chaperone, but I use it, and I'm like,
I'm terrible with that gun, by the way.
Awful,
awful,
awful with the chaperone. Like I'm just gonna throw this in the bushes. Clearly what I'm doing is wrong.
This is not for me. Whatever it is, I'm not doing it right.
Not happening. So so that's what they got. So you want to take the one item that's clear, sir?
Yeah. All right. So the other piece in the world of changes and nerfs and supers and exotics, and they couldn't forget it. So the One-Eyed Mask has been too effective and become a non-choice exotic for Titans in PvP. After implementing the following changes, we believe the exotic will still be potent if used well, but there will be more opportunities to counter it. So first off, this had to happen.
Yes.
There's no question about it.
I've been running loose. Come on now. Y'all got to get some of that nerf love. Warlocks felt it last 12. Now it's your turn.
So the duration of Mark of the Vengeance has been reduced from 15 seconds to 8. So definitely shorter. The way players refill health after a successful kill has been changed. Before, it restored all of your health in the overshield refilled over time. Now, the health refills over time alongside the overshield. This should give a leg up when encountering situations where multiple people are fighting one person with the One-Eyed Mask. So, Vengeance will no longer trigger for players in Super. This was making Supers far too potent. That actually seems pretty fair.
Yes.
Supers already have their moments of ups and downs. I mean, it seems reasonable. Just the fact that you don't get that instant refill. Because I mean, you see somebody kill somebody, and all of a sudden it's just like buff overshield. Like Mike, they're untouchable. Like if they were running around. And then on the other side, Mark of Vengeance being shorter. 15 seconds is a long time. So 8 seconds, still plenty of time to get work done. Most gunplay between back and forth, hiding in the pillar, still probably going to take about that long. So it's just not going to last for, half a day.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like crazy long. You get that mark, man. Whew, you was in trouble.
So, I mean, we knew this was coming. I don't think they took it into the ground.
Mm.
I think they just kind of took a bit more of the whipped cream and cherry on top off the top of this thing and made it just a normal ice cream sundae. It seems
Forte.
could be pretty good, but Creighton, or if they didn't kill it, still should be powerful. Yeah, it's like that's kind of the thing. Now, like this is probably a little more reasonable still, as opposed to like the Warlock's Nova Warp just like nerfed into the ground.
Oh dear, it's done. It's done.
So
my main thing it's still effective, like you said. Not to cut you, but
Yeah.
it's just like it's still effective. It's a nerf, but it's still useful. And my favorite part is 15 seconds to 8. That's my thing. So it's like you can't just sit on it. Like 15 seconds is still a lot to be running around, you know what I'm saying, with that mark of vengeance kind
Yep.
of. So I do like that aspect. And yeah, like I said, I think this is a fair nerf. I would say that, unlike my Nova Warp. Warlocks, put your hands up, put your drinks in the air, pour it out.
Pour one out for the Nova Warps.
For the Nova Warps out there that's been hurting. But yeah, I mean that's what I got. But yeah, this is pretty fair. So that's I'll keep it straight with that.
A new season means a new reality in combat. Keep up the cheddar. We'll keep curating the sandbox so that Destiny adapts the way you play, and we'll just see. It'd be nice if we get, we got at least a couple sandbox changes fairly closer here. It'd be nice to see if these were more frequent than, all right, we release the meta. Let's, analyze it for 3 months, and then right before the season of whatever the next one comes out, then they do this again. Like, do it once a month. Once a month is a reasonable pace where it gives them some time to analyze. If they don't get it quite right, you can always tweak, but yeah, it's just one of those things that needs to be done faster. Too many other games are making changes quicker. They have to definitely get on that train.
Gotta salute. We're gonna get into it, but we gotta salute BioWare. We gotta salute Anthem. Like, already in a short period of time, and games still technically just launched today? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, you see the response time, you see the reaction, and you want Bungie to get on that cadence. You know what I mean? So absolutely, yeah, they definitely need to speak this. So if we get them once a month, big sandbox change, and in their defense, the last 2 TWABs have been pretty. I was shocked to see some stuff being changed up. So they got to keep that cadence.
Yeah. But that's pretty much most of the teases we've got. We'll get more info. I'm sure keep your eyes out for a Vidoc Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm guessing, could be wrong.
Yeah.
But they did it before. But we've got some things that will be resolved finally right at the end of Season of the Forge. Hey, let's fix it now. Some of this stuff, and this is like the top type of stuff, like you got to be able to make some of these corrections quicker, especially when the things that were like breaking quest and stuff like that. Like those have got to be like critical path things. I'm getting that from like Anthem, but the critical path of like a quest line has to work.
Yeah,
like people have multiple characters. You need to know that is like that should not have even been a thing. Like you get it on one, you lock out another character. That shouldn't be right.
Hold on, I have to correct some Warlocks in the chat real quick.
Oh, hold on, you do that.
Yeah, let me correct the Warlocks. Dizzy and my man Chris Cobra Elite. Listen, not Chris Cobra Elite. That's that's cute what you're doing with your Warlock. That's very cute. You're doing Nova with Devour, saves your butt. That's cute. Get on that top tree, y'all. Please get on that top tree with the Slova, with the buffs to the Slova, the Cataclysm, and please shout out to Ebontis. He sent me the text. You know what I'm saying? Skull of Dire Malkara came out last Friday with Zer. So if you didn't have it, now's the time. Throw that on. It is so cheap and it feels so powerful. Like, let me give you a quick example. I know this is a real sidebar. The Warlocks got me excited right now in the chat. What the strike? What's that strike? It's the it's a Cabal captain. It's on Nessus. You have to do it as part of. You have to do a hard version on part of the Izanami Forge quest. There's a section where you stand.
Oh, inside Terminus.
Yes, you stand inside, and you stand inside, like, and you're waiting to charge up a plate, and they keep setting waves of enemies. Right? You have your super with Skull and Top Tree. You will wipe them Get your super back. Wipe the next wave. Get your super. Like I literally did 4 novas. I was looking for yellow bars. I'm like, where y'all at? Who wants to smoke? Trust me. Dizzy, as much as I love Nezarec, it's over. Nezarec, it was a nice run. It's still good. It's still good. I would say Nezarec in PvP, but PvE, don't you dare run without. If you're running Voidlock, don't you dare run outside there without that skull now, because Top Tree Nova is disgusting. Rant over. We can continue with the 12.
No, you're fine. Dropping knowledge out there.
Continue.
I said Fred's over there in chat. Stop leaking this information. I don't need to run into more warlocks.
My fault, said Fred.
Yeah, gotta keep it clean. Gotta hold off on if you got those secrets. Like if somebody, keep it small.
Listen, man. If you
those subtle hints.
If you guys listening to the last word and you're a warlock, I show favoritism.
It's not. He's not wrong.
I gotta show my boys some favoritism. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's really good, man. It's so good. So yeah, check that out, man, if you want to mix it up.
But yeah, so come early March 5th, obviously, update 2.2.0 will resolve quite a few things that they've been working on. Also like the Relics of the Golden Age, which is something Quest for Sturm. So most things are going to be corrected, which is good. And then I guess we'll figure out what the new things are wrong come the next one. If there's anything, hopefully there's less. But there's just certain things, there's patches here for like things that have some issues. So I'm not going to go into patch notes per se on details. There's nothing too crucial. Couple movies of the week, and that mostly wraps it. But they said with 12 days before the season of the Drifter, teams hard at work dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Before we go, I wanted to share a quick preview of something that the hunters among you have been asking for. If you ever found yourself thinking it would be awesome if I could see my entire cloak when previewing shaders,
yes,
we have some good news for you. Update 2.2.0 will make a slight change to your view when inspecting cloaks in the character screen.
Woo!
Did you just mute yourself?
I was going to get too out of control.
I was like, you were so loud, you turned into a police siren and had to mute yourself.
I had to mute myself. It was just, that shout out to the hunters, man. Y'all needed that. That's what I'm talking about. Hunters listen, I'm a warlock, but hunters are fly. Like hunters, I came very close to picking hunter when I first got Destiny. And this is the reason. When you see those hoodies, you see those designs, you can't front warlocks. They be styling. They really got a nice to see now. They can see this kind of stuff. It's good stuff, man. Shout out to the hunters out there. Y'all needed this one. Respect.
But yeah, I mean, actually, it's cool. But I love how this is a tease they give. So like it's real small, real subtle. We'll have more patch note previews leading up to Season Drifter. Until then, have a great weekend. So all that being said, how are you feeling about Season of the Drifter?
Listen, man, shout out to Forte in the chat. I forgot how to play Destiny. Listen, it's one of those things that I just hope they don't take an exact approach as they did to Black Armory. And what I mean by that, not saying that Black Armory was bad. As you get through the content loop, you see there's still a lot to do. The weapons were cool. Raid was decent. We're not going to have one with a raid this time, but I think this is important, man. I mean, I don't want to understate Season of the Drifter's importance because they need to do something. I lost my bet. I thought it was going to be Trials, right? So that's out the window. We've already got, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Forte's killing me in the chat right now. I cannot with him right now. That's not the best. But yeah, man. So it's one of them things where just like, that's not coming. We're hoping that what we just heard with the Gambit changes is not it. We have rumors of Thorn, which is good. I'm with you, E. They need to give some more story context with Drifter. They can't give this thing the Ada treatment where we gotta books and find out stuff through these erroneous side quests, and it's not like they gotta bring it. I think. Listen, I'm gonna just keep it real. Yo, the back's up against the wall for the summer. That's just what it is. We got Anthem out here. We got Division coming. I'm not saying it's panic time, but you've got to get your core re-engaged. You got to get your core hype. You need, and then this the other thing I'm a little nervous of, E. That's the last thing, and I'll give it to you. Post Activision, right?
Oh, well, you're opening a can of worms I wanted to get into anyway, so go for it.
Oh, okay. Because
yeah, jump into this because let's talk.
I'm a little nervous, man, because this is them on their own. And as much as we champion this and we still think it was the right move, now you got to put on your big boy pants. You got to advertise. You got to promote. You've got to get people pumped up for Season of the Drifter. And I'm going to be real. Outside of us and everybody in this chat, that's last word, both chats, we're the hardcore. We're going to be there. But when you speak to your friends and you look at your friends list, are they screaming Season of the Drifter? You know what I'm saying? Do you see the big advertisement push? And again, I know we're not right at launch just yet, so I'm willing to give them, the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully they do their Twitch streams and all that stuff. But they can't play around because right now, man, and like I said, Anthem is, and the thing about Anthem, even if Anthem, we're gonna touch it with the Rocky Star. I know we're gonna get into. I'm not gonna go too deep. Anthem is very responsive. BioWare, I should say. They're quick. Okay, you didn't like that? Boom, we're gonna fix it. Oh, you didn't like that? Oh, okay, boom, we're gonna fix that. If they keep that cadence and get it everything to what everybody wants, exactly how they want, ooh, you know what I'm saying? So I'll give it to you. I'm a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie. This TWAB, not saying that this was supposed to be the end all TWAB to be like, yeah, we're back, baby. Now I won't say that, but we should be getting hype, and we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. What do you feel, man? Am I overreacting? Do you
No, not at all.
With me. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was like, no, we're in agreement on this one. Shout out to DCP last night. I caught like the tail end of that. They were talking about this a little bit too, and it's just something we've talked about before. And it is, what is the future of this franchise now that Bungie's on its own? They don't have Activision forcing them to a date, which can have some benefits, but also in turn, there's this expected cadence of releases, and September is a big deal. We have E3, which is June, which is usually where we get some type of announcement, some type of trailer. Spoiler alert, that's where Cade got shot. Like that was a big deal, but those are big times, whether it's Rise of Iron, Taken King, Forsaken. Those were all those moments that kept Destiny as like, hey, it's still here. We've got another year of this game. Some people love it, some people hate it, but it's been there.
And can I check one quick point? Because you just made me think about something I forgot. Remember, you just nailed it, E. Put it in the mindset. Remember last year, where was the Cade trailer revealed? On the Sony stage.
Yeah.
Sony is not at E3.
Right.
Activision doesn't have a show. You know what I'm saying? So does that mean Destiny misses the marketing cadence? You know what I mean? And we got to see, unless they do what they did last year and kind of do a blowout and do a whole bunch of Twitch streams on their own. But that's a key part. I'll give it back to you. I'm sorry. You just made me think
you're good.
Of the whole, when you said about the Cade part, you made me think about that. But yeah, continue with what you were saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's what did they do? And there was a debate going back and forth. I think you and I probably had the same one. It was Tefty and Broman last night. And you and I probably said the same thing. There's a point where Activision had this schedule. You got to do this. You got to put something out, so they were forced. Sometimes okay, sometimes really good with Forsaken, sometimes things delayed. But we've definitely seen many moments to where the schedule has been to their detriment, either because things needed change, they didn't get time to really fix them, they didn't get to put all the things they wanted in there. They weren't ready for Destiny 2, so Rise of Iron was smaller, or Taken King, but then you have this other giant lag of content. So the schedule has been something that, while the releases potentially have some really good moments to them, the lag behind them has been an issue. And now that there's no pressure that someone, Activision's not knocking on the door saying, hey, September 5th is coming up, we got to go ahead and get this stuff. What do we got? So nobody's doing that. So it's really on them to decide. And this is going to be their biggest decision probably when they made this split, and Pete Parsons and everybody else at the top, Luke Smith, trying to decide, is there a major release this year? Is it an annual pass? Because the annual pass has been lackluster so far. As you said, I mean, Black Armory has some decent moments. If you go through and do some of the I'm trying to remember what the mysterious box and stuff like that, you get a little extra tidbits. But again, you go through and you play Anthem. I pick up like a piece of the Cortex for lore. I read it right on screen. I don't get this like little tiny tidbit, and then maybe I can go find it. And some of the stuff more is in there in the game, but it literally pops up on my screen. Look at this, click through it. The text is in front of your face. Not, hey, here's a triumph, or here's like a little text. You can go pull it up in a menu 2 slots later.
Right.
They're getting more of that stuff in the game, but in turn, it's been very minimal on story. Same thing with Gambit. I have no idea what they're going to do here, and honestly, I don't expect a lot, which is sad, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, neither. I mean,
with previous expectations, we might get a little bit of voiceover, a couple lines when we talk to him a little bit, probably just as much when we do the Malfeasance quest. But all in all, I don't expect a high level or a very deep piece of content for Season of the Drifter. Honestly, I think this will be the smallest of everything.
Wow, yeah, and you may be right. I mean, look at what we got on the docket.
I mean, and it's the timing, which would not be stupid to be the smallest. Like enough to be like, hey, Gambit's kind of fun. Yeah, I know these games are out there. Let the hype on these games go down for a couple months. Because if it's going to start March 5th, Division 2's March 15th, 10 days later, I mean, that's going to pull people over. You got a full campaign to go through. You got the end game. Then maybe you can figure out what you're going to do for Season of the Redacted.
Right.
And that's going to be your time to try and figure out what your pieces are going to be. But I mean, that's going to be June, July, and August. That is June. E3's early June. All of that stuff comes together right then. And then June, July, August, you get to know what your Season of the Redacted is going to be. And then E3 is when we get our answer right there about what the future of this franchise is, if it's major or if it's minor this year. And if it's minor, do you think if they don't release something substantial, whether it's even a Rise of Iron size thing, what that would do to this game? Or the franchise?
I completely agree with you, and I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to say it.
No.
And, for real. I mean, shout out to M Baines in the chat. 99. He said, "Remember, Anthem's DLC start to drop in March. Also, Division drops in March. These are a lot, regardless of quality or what Destiny players may feel about both games. If they don't like them, it still takes away from your base. And this is critical. They have to still remind people why people should play this game. So this is very critical. Season of the Drifter is very critical. Season of the Redacted, very critical. But I think it starts with Season of the Drifter. Like, you can show a thorn and like my thing is this. If they pull what they pulled with Season of the Forge by just, at the end, yay, last word's coming, that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. I don't think. I don't think if they just do a cute little trailer and they show thorns against the wall and, nah, fam. People going to be like, all right, that's cute. That's cool. I'll log in that week.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's in that timing where like Anthem would have come out, people burned it for a little bit. You might have that like week or two when some stuff will be going, but also, I mean, they have the weekly Joker's Wild quest and stuff like that going on. Pull it up on screen so you guys can see. So you have your Joker's Wild weapons and gear, Joker's Wild weekly quest, one exotic and one everyone's exotic. But other than that, you have new matches and you have new maps and a power level increase. Everything else is basic stuff. That's always there. So it's literally like a weekly quest, whatever the Gambit experience is, which is still Gambit. You have some bounties and you have some new maps and you have a way to grind for more power, which is still more of the same stuff. Right. This is the smallest of everything to give you new things to do is what it feels like.
And it hurts. No raid. And that's what they do, man. Regardless to the, that's just what they got. Like one thing I realized looking at these other looter shooters, Bungie just know how to do a damn raid, man. Like they just, it's the structure of their game, But we got to see. We got to see. They've got to come up almost, I think they almost got to come up with like whisper level kind of stuff, you know, to
I mean,
get.
this would be a good time to get that hype of some secret thing that drops. It pulls people in. Like if they find a release window, they look at Anthem and Division, be like, okay, Anthem is doing its thing. It's got its Act 1, and then you got Division coming out. The raid might be a week later. Okay, so sometime mid-April, after a little bit of settling in, hey, let's drop this secret.
Yeah, let me ask you a funny question. Do you think something like Gallahorn would do it?
Oh my god.
It's back in black, baby. Let's go.
You would have to. I mean, what color? They did black already. That was literally like its thing when it returned. If you brought Gallahorn back, you would get people back for a little bit.
For a little bit,
but you would also get a whole bunch of crap for doing another old gun.
Yeah.
And they've done so many now with. I mean, Sleeper was a quest in itself, and that's a gun we had previously. Queensbreaker was literally Queenbreaker's bow. I mean, you have a lot of things that, you know, you lost your inventory, and now we're whittling them all back into, like, you know, slotting them in here. They're putting them back in. Whisper was like amazingly done, and I love that piece. But I don't want them to keep doing that. I don't want Gallahorn back. And unfortunately, like, it would either have to be so broken that it would be like the only thing everybody uses, and then you're kind of pissed off at that again. But rocket launchers aren't in a great slot. So
Galley would have the effect. Shout out to Dizzy the chat, because I know he loves the Gallo. He's like, give me the baller horn. Right. He's going in. And I know that's his favorite. And I will say this, based on the way the meta is, if they brought Galley back how Thunderlord is, where it's like just
busted beyond all belief. And I love it.
And it's just like you just melted. People would get hype. I must admit, as much as I'm with you, E, I don't want it back right now. I really don't. But no hate on it. It's just more of a stop recycling the old stuff, you know, kind of thing.
Make some new stuff, yeah.
New stuff, you know. So because to me, Gallahorn is a win button. Everybody's got the nostalgia. Everybody, but then I have to be honest with myself too, and this is what kind of leads me to Dizzy's point, is that maybe it is kind of needed right now, because, you know, they got to do something to get people hyped to play the game during this kind of transitionary period between Season of the Redacted and then hopefully a September content drop, because we don't even know if that's happening. Let's be honest, we still don't know. You know, post Activision world, they are not beholden to the September release cadence at Activision had the gun to their head, because let's be clear, Activision set that for a reason. September was so that Destiny could stay away from Call of Duty. Let's keep it real, because Call of Duty was always November, right? October never really dropped anything, so they like Destiny have 2 months to breathe. November was COD, you know. But we'll see. Shout out to L Boogie. She said maybe they are just in a struggle period for a little bit. I think you will see recycled stuff until they have a better direction after Season of the Redacted. It's true. I guess my question to both chats are, do you think come after Season of the Redacted, right? Let's say they're gonna take their lumps. What we see on this map is exactly what we get. Both chats, Ibonta chat and LP. Do you guys think after Season of the Redacted that they're going to keep the September release schedule? You know, do you guys think that? And if not, could they survive without it? You know, like tell me.
You're still stealing my question out of my mouth, but
all right.
Literally what I was going to ask.
We the cheated telepathically think that's what we do.
Yeah, you're in my head, man. Now let me preface this, and I'm going to answer it in 2 ways. What I want is it not to be September. I do not want a full release in September. That's what I want. Now, let me tell you why. Is because I want them to take their time to either do Destiny either 3 or whatever word comes next. And if they give the changes we were hearing about for D3, a little more RPG stuff in there, more numbers, more those types of things, I want them to do that right. And that's the game I want. Now they have they're not forced, but also they have to keep the lights on. So how do you do that? So in turn, Is it another annual pass where it is like lackluster sales? Maybe the diehards stay around. If they can kind of find some, a live team and a set of things that will keep people around enough, keep it, half relevant in the mind, and give yourself time to have 90% of your entire staff and studio focused on that next big 2020 PS5, Xbox 2 giant release to go something like that big, as opposed to trying to split development, put it all into that. This decision's already been made. We're speculating on something they've already decided on. That's the fun part.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's like they know what they're doing. We just all get to speculate and figure out and hope. But yeah, just right there, Gaming 14, date D3 2020. But that's the other piece, like Dizzy saying it too. They can't afford to, and let's be honest, like they don't have the money. We don't know we don't know how much money they have. We don't know if NetEase bottomed that year with that 100 million. I honestly don't know, but I was like, that's my preference. Like they need to make sure and keep the lights on, and they're not stupid enough not to. But in turn, I don't want them to force a piece of content, pull away from time, because they don't have Vicarious Visions. They don't have High Moon anymore. It is all them, and I want D3 to be what we all have hoped for 5 or 6 years. So
okay, what about this? Let me give you an option. What about we do both, but in a certain kind of a way, in the sense that we do after Season of the Redacted, we drop a Comet level DLC in September again.
Okay, right? So Comet is Forsaken or Taken King. Those are big. Not Rise of Iron. Those are bigger.
Give us another Comet, right? Now, instead, after we drop Comet, let's just say then they do what you want, right? Which normal release structure would be Comet, and then come, December would be their / Curse of Osiris / Black Armory kind of a thing, and then basing in that kind of like that season pass structure. What if Comet is the last one, and then it's like, okay, you're up for 2020 D3, right? What if they do that way? Because I'm gonna be honest, you're right. They do need to take time and really make quality content. But I'm with Dizzy. They cannot afford to go quiet right now. They have to keep people reminding them about this game. If you go quiet right now when your two biggest competitors that we're about to talk about and the rest of the last word, I'm scared to death. I'm terrified. You can't let them have the mind share. You always have to throw your hand up. Hey, me too. Remember me? Like, because if you go
but okay, let me. I'm gonna interrupt you, and I'm sorry. If you keep throwing your hand up, but you don't have a whole lot to offer, what are you saying about your brand? If you keep saying, hey, look at me, and then they look at you and they're like, well, what do you have? You have a little annual pass? Like, what if they don't care if you're looking at you, if it's not there? What if it's like, hey, I'm going to let these two other heavy hitters duke it out for a little Anthem division, going back and forth. Destiny's going to have some regulars and some holdouts. And then you come back and you walk in like in, the start of a wrestling match. I'm not even a wrestler, but you walk in like a wrestling match, D3, we here, next gen, and do it big. Like you let the D2 settle down, because honestly, people have been burned twice on Destiny. D1, year 1, D2, year 1. Forsaken's been great, but you lost a lot of people on D2. Giving some breathing room and space in there has a chance for it to let some of that step back, let people learn. And as long as they don't pull a D2 screw up and say, hey, let's completely change what works, and then come back in with D3 to be make the big announcement, you have a chance to separate from D2 year 1 and say, hey, guess what? We're finally doing this on our own, and we did it how we want to. This is it. And that's hoping. But again, I am honestly okay, because I have so many games that I would love to play.
See, here's the problem, E. See, we're looking at it from the gamer perspective, right? The gamer perspective is that we've got too much to play. So theoretically, we could be like, yeah, Destiny, take your time, right? Because we got all this other stuff to play. The problem is the hardcore are going to come back. The casuals are not loyal. Like the casuals, bro, I'm telling you right now, it's not. I understand your point about raising your hand and you really don't got much. I hear you on that, but you've got it. Who said it in? Shout out to your chat. Siegfried. Said Fried.
Said Fred.
Said Fred. Sorry. Yo, he actually, because when I see his name, I think Siegfried of Soul Calibur because it looks the same.
No.
But anyway, so he actually made a point that I agree with, which was like they need to make a hit before they even think about announcing D3. If you announce D3 now with the stuff that has come out minus Forsaken, the sales going to be a choice. That's how I feel. I feel like they got to have one more banger, like a Forsaken kind of banger, to get everybody galvanized again. I think you can't walk away on your worst kind of a content. Now, I'm not saying Black Armory is the worst thing we ever played. It ain't Curse of Osiris. We know that. But it also did set the world on fire. Let's keep it true. It had a bad launch, a bad onboarding. You know, once you finally got in, then you kind of understood it. But then, you know, rehashed Exotic with the last word. Raid was okay. He wasn't, you know, super great. Vagabondo, I disagree with you, brother. Division 2, listen, man. He's saying Division 2 will not take away Destiny. I say that because Division did not. Oh, you are. I love you, Vagabondo. You know you're my guy. You know you're my guy. I love you to death, Vagabondo. But you're definitely wrong on this one because when Division 1 launched, that literally, not only did it break records for the highest selling new IP that previously Destiny had, right? They started off with a bang. They stole that base. And again, regardless to whether the Destiny fans don't like Division, that has a strong base, and I can see it happen. Anthem's slowly doing it right now. So again, this is just me. Maybe I'm worry warting a little bit too much, but I need a comment, man. I need a comment. I need something Forsaken level, Taken King level to get the juices flowing, to get everybody go, okay, we're here. Now, if they want to take the break and the siesta after that, not do anything and then focus on D3, I'm okay with that. But just end it on a nice, positive thing to show that. And also, you know why you also need it, E? That's my last point. And I know I've been talking a lot.
No, we both have. It's all right.
You've got to prove that you, Bungie, can do it on your own on that level. That's another thing. Like, you leave with this drifters and redacteds. No disrespect to the redacted. We don't know what it is. My apologies, redacted. I don't mean to be disrespectful. We just don't know what you are.
Robot
right
ninja, man.
But let's be honest. Is Season of the Drifter, chat, getting your blood boiling?
They have. I mean, I can answer the question for them. They haven't talked about it. They haven't talked about Season of the Drifter, and it's like this weird, quiet, non-hype cycle that they're doing. They did the same thing for Black Armory, and I was honestly wondering, I was asking you, I was like, did they do the same? Did they hardly talk about like a week before, hey, here's this, like, this one will launch, and then they finally came out with a graphic of like, this on this date, this on this date, this on this date. We even had that at some point. I feel like probably now, 2 weeks before, we probably had the dates of when things were going to start dropping. Maybe we'll get that stuff next week, but we don't even have dates of what the hell is coming.
Yeah, I remember. Let's take
it. So got a weekly quest, Xur bounties, and a new Gambit quote experience. So maybe you'll have like a Gambit, you know, sub menu on the director. But outside of that, I see 3 things.
And remember,
and a power increase of which some people are just tired of grinding up to that next power level on 3 characters.
Yeah, and remember how upset you were. Put your mindset back into launch of 2 weeks before launch of Black Armory. You said you used to pester me. I gotta give it back to you. You were right. You were like, Cog, where's the trailer? Where's the hype? We don't. This thing's about to launch. We don't even know what it is. Remember, they were Forsaken was still in the air. And Forge was coming, and we were like, what, Forge? You were like, yo, what is Forge doing? We don't even know. And I was trying to calm you down. And you was like, yo, when are we going to get it? And I'm like, you know what? They're kind of doing this same thing again with Drifter. It's like, Drifter's about to be here. I couldn't tell you what's happening besides Gambit revamp.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. So I know some people, it's like, yeah, I'll work on getting my characters up to 700. Are the Nightfall modifier, like, is the Nightfall score modifier going to change? We're not getting strikes. Crucible maps, I don't even see them listed.
Are we getting vendor refreshes even? We haven't gotten that.
Like, that's the type of stuff that shouldn't be, not a designer, so speaking out of my rear end. But yeah, vendor refreshes, keep bringing back some more year 1 guns. They at least have Joker's wild weapons and gear, but if it's like just stuff in Gambit, like, we have a lot of so many repetitions now. Like, I'm kind of good on my 6,000th smuggler's word. I mean, some of that stuff is just like getting old, whether it's, a bad reputation or some of these things that you go do. And yeah, it's like some of the Black Armor ones have some decent perks on them, but just like even stuff about tweaking. And this is where I wonder where their resources are at. Like, how can you hires an annual pass? We don't know. If it doesn't come out that great, we might burn people. We might not even be able to sell one again, but we're sure as hell not trying to set us up to have a chance to sell one again because we're not making it all that amazing. It's like, hey, this time they haven't even dropped like new mods. We got like 4, but even new weapon perks or curate some of the, just like some of the things be like, hey, snipers are no longer going to have hip fire on there. Stuff like that's one of those that I'm like,
you're right.
Little stuff like that to be like, hey, these changes, like quality of life, here's a new thing to grind for. They had the Zavala. If I was going to grind up for a Nightfall, your Nightfall, top tier thing was going to be there. Now it was just a quest, and once you have it, you have it. There's no like, hey, grind out your season 5 scores or season 6 scores to get this new weapon. Give me more incentive to do Nightfalls. Like, not even updating the strike exclusives because we have no strikes. Maybe you throw a piece of armor in there or something. Like, they have added, there's so little value add on some of this stuff. I wonder, again, I don't know where it's all at, but they got to be working on something. That's why I wonder what it is. So
yeah, very curious, man. This is interesting times. I like this type of discussion because we got to see how this thing plays out. We got to see what they do, and it is very interesting. I'm very, very interested, man. But that's all I got on that side piece. But yeah, man, we finished up the 12. We're gonna get into this other thing that we got to talk about.
Yeah. So Destiny is not the only game. And honestly, it's not a bad thing because it's kind of nice to have a little variety, but they definitely, and this is why we're wondering about what is their answer, what is their future, because there's a couple other games. One of them launched at midnight. Wherever you live, it was still midnight, I think, everywhere, called Anthem.
Yes.
I've been playing it for the past week on PC. I know you got to play it like maybe a day. I don't think you've got to play it that much at all, have you?
Not much, man. This week, as you already know, I've been knee deep in certain projects. So like I said, I literally got to touch it maybe once or twice, but I didn't get a chance to touch post patch, and I'm dying to get your perspective because we do know obviously the initial reviews were a little shaky. You know what I'm saying? A little shaky.
Oh my God. That's sugarcoating it like crazy.
I'm being nice because I could come in here with my "I told you so" jacket, but I'm not doing that.
Oh, you can say "I told you so," but there's differences of opinion, but that's fine.
Not doing that. I don't like to pile on. I think it's very apparent what has been happening, especially the YouTube community, and the Metacritic score of Anthem is not good right now. Let's just keep it true. And one thing that we've seen is basically one of the major complaints we've seen is like loading times and things of that nature as far as quest structure and things happening in quests and stuff like that and Endgame. So I'm gonna give it to you, which is the infamous day 1 patch. It's out in the wild. You've experienced it now. How much of this do you think has really helped your experience, and do you notice a significant change?
Well, I feel they got a couple things out that helped smooth out the big launch. You had the early access, which was, it's early access. It's fine. It should have been full game. It literally said full game on their little chart. They weren't quite done. And this is a point where before I go into any and all of this is you have to look at the forcing of a publisher to say, this is your date, hell or high water. This is one of those things Bungie doesn't have to do now, which has its ups and downs. If there's a point where they're like, hey, we're going to release it so-and-so, and then they're like, no, we will have a day 1 patch. We got a little more testing to do. Doesn't quite feel right. We're going to bump in a month. This is one of those things for Anthem probably should have happened, but EA said, no, it's going now. And I think, everybody bashes on EA, good, bad, or otherwise. They have their ups and downs. They put a lot of sports games. They still make plenty of money. And they sadly got their hand slapped hardcore, like with a ruler, when they messed with Star Wars Battlefront 2, the loot boxes completely breaking it. and then they've stepped back on some of that stuff. Activision, unfortunately, is going the other way, but that's a different problem. But you have Anthem. You also have BioWare behind this, people who do want to do story. And I shout out again, I've said it before, the producers, the community, like correspondent people for Anthem have been absolutely amazing. Shout out to all of them: Ben Irving, Michael Gamble. Those are the two I know. There's the main community guy. I'm probably blanking on his name, so I don't want to say it wrong. So those guys have been
Mark Dara.
Mark Dara is another one, and I swear there's a Corey. No, see, I know it's wrong. But yeah, it's the activity I've seen since following those people on Twitter, finding their names, and actually seeing how much they do. They are so fast and responsive. There's a point where they found a in-game farming glitch. Kind of think of a loot cave, basically.
Yeah, I heard.
They chest run fixed in a day.
Nice. Can't for certain other loot caves.
Yeah, I mean, the loot cave definitely sat there for a little while. This was fixed in basically as soon as I saw the videos coming up, it was like done and fixed that night. Now, it all depends on how your game is built and what they can do, but they were like, yeah, this is going. No questions, it's happening, and they fixed it. There is I'm not going to spoil what the quest line is, but there is a shift in the quest line where you have certain activities you need to go do. They eased that one up a whole bunch. Made that one a lot better, not quite the wall that it was for some. Huge fix, definitely before the big launch. I'll say big launch, early launch doesn't matter. But yes, the big global all consoles launch, that was fixed before. Now, were those things that probably could have been fixed before the 15th when I started playing? Yeah. Loading times, things like that. Now, this is the point where me playing on a powerful PC helps on certain things. I didn't experience as many crashes. That's honestly just crossed my fingers. I had more crashes in the Division beta than I've had in Anthem, mostly. So I mean, that was just like that. But shout out to Division, that was also fixed in a day. And then it whether the audio bugs were one thing, the crashes were done in a day too on Division, which was like awesome job, guys. Like,
can you please reveal to the people what kind of hard drive you have?
Oh, I have about as good as they get. I have a SSD to the max. I have an NVMe, so I have a Samsung 970 Evo. So,
you're not a commoner. That the common folk has been struggling, not you though. So that's what you say.
Well, in the world of common folk, can we get King in here and see his thoughts on common folk? By the way, I about fell out of my car listening to him talk about that. Anyway, so things they have fixed. So there are a lot of things people have issues with this. Loading screens are everywhere. That needs some help. Absolutely still does. They have improved the loading times in a lot of places. That is live. That's a big one. So that one's pretty big. Trying to think what else. Just the high level fixes and stuff like that. But just like my feeling of the smoothness of gameplay being dropped and things like that, I haven't had that many. I also haven't been like barreling through the game as fast as some. And again, how fast you want to play a game could determine how much you enjoy it. There are certain things like the voice acting, the quests and stuff that have been fun. Like I've really enjoyed and this is one of those things, shout out to Paul Tassi, having people to talk to and actually having dialogue, whether it matters or not. It's not Mass Effect. You're not really making decisions that have weight, sadly. Kind of wish they did more. But at least having decisions, different voice lines, learning about some backstory of these characters, actually get some, not all of them are great, but a decent amount, like better than Destiny by about 100-fold. I would love to like talk to Zavala and then him go into this random story about this time we were on the wall defending it against these fallen. Oh yeah, back to your quest. All right, I'll see you later. Just those little tidbits would be so cool. So, I mean, there are, and I guess I'll preface this, and this is like, if I do a thoughts video, it's going to probably be titled something like this. It is a flawed but fun game.
That's fair.
I was like, I am not going to defend perfection on this game because it's not. There are things from when I like from the open beta, from the alpha, from things that I've wanted fixed, and there's things that continue to like be worked on, and they still have them to work on. But my fun, the Iron Man simulator, the lightning strike of a storm feels they nailed certain things in this game that for me are fun. And again, it's not for everybody. If you love the tactical cover shooter, this is literally the wrong game for you. I'll absolutely agree. Like, if you love the military, boots on the ground, tactics, working on those guys, like, you go over here, cool. If you love throwing like an ice bomb, casting down stuff from the sky, being a interceptor ninja, like, yeah, you're gonna have some fun. So
Yeah.
all of that being said, that's like my general thoughts on it so far. I wish it had more time to bake in the oven, because it was like taking a cheesecake out like 20 minutes too soon. Didn't get a chance to set, didn't get a chance to cool, didn't get a chance to cool overnight. Needed some polish, it needed like a bigger test audience to like iron out some of the little stuff.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's my main issue. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you know, we can't talk. We have to talk about the the elephant in the room, which is EA, right? And we do know, shout out to Jason Schreier. He's making some reporting in reference to the crunch these guys are under, and as far as the release cadence, we know there was an initial delay last year, and it was supposed to drop last year, right? And then they pushed it out. And listen, I'll be completely honest with you, E. I am not an Anthem hater. I know maybe the last word, it may have come off like I was.
No, we were just
like,
having fun banter.
Yeah,
I didn't take it that way.
And I want to shout out Kaibatsu, because I know me and him go at it sometimes too. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm a person that wants this game to succeed. Like, I am hardcore BioWare. Like, that's one of my favorite devs in gaming. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with the Mass Effect series. I love Dragon's Age. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody wants them to win, and you got to understand too, if this game doesn't succeed, if you're a BioWare fan, there are complications here. There are consequences here that, based on the track record of EA, which is known to destroy studios sometimes, and like, this thing needs to succeed. So to see them fighting back, not going to say that the wounds were self-inflicted, but whatever issues they were having, because clearly the game had issues. We cannot understate that. Disappearing mobs, the loading, too many loading screens, too much going on with that. Fort Tarsus a little too slow and stuff like that. But like you said, when you get out in an expedition, you get out in the world and you just fly, right? And you just shoot, and you just do your weapons, and you're doing your builds, and you're customizing things that's gonna work on certain abilities. It feels good. And I tell all my Destiny fans, even I tell my Division fans, like, regardless to the flaws, just like you said, the foundation is fun, right? Of course, I will always get into Endgame. We ain't gonna make this the Endgame show right now, because we've already done that. Got Division coming up next. Do that. It's just like I said. Long as they keep it up, long as they keep up the content, stay on top of things, stay with the cadence, they'll be okay. They'll be okay, because I think a lot of people still enjoying the experience. Shout out to Eric's Gaming. He put out a good video, still enjoying it despite, I know there's an angry. Let me be clear, though. I want to say one last thing about this. People are not, I don't feel like everyone is hating on Anthem. I do feel that some people are benefiting off the negative press and then coming out with
I was like, there's some people just ripping it.
But let's be true. There's a lot of things that's broken.
You're not wrong either. So,
but the problem I have with people just saying people are hating on Anthem. See, people are like, oh, you're a Destiny guy. How can you hate on it? And they didn't have a lot of things, but here's the fundamental difference. I was actually going to save this point for ILP on Sunday. The fundamental difference is that when Destiny 1 vanilla launched, there were no technical issues. There was no infinite loading. There were no broken gameplay aspects. The issue came down to content, right? You felt that there wasn't a lot of content in Destiny 1. And they felt that, where's this great story that I thought I was promised? That was Destiny 1 vanilla experience. The Anthem is different. Anthem is like, how come it's loading? How come it's this? How come it's that? This is not working. That's not working. I can't get in. So that we have to be clear that people who are Destiny fans that are attacking it, or people who are just in general that are attacking it, we have to be honest that there are a lot of technical issues. Now they're resolving it. We've got this day one patch. I can't wait to jump in and see what it's about. Thank you, Philly Eagle, for conceding that. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, like I said, I want to be clear. I want Anthem to succeed. I do not want this game to fail. BioWare is my favorite. If they go away, it's a sad day in gaming for me. So let's get this thing going. Like you said, on the screen, we got update 1, Evolving World, update 2, Stronger Together. And then we got update 3, the Cataclysm. Now, based on these, this is all starting March. That we still don't have dates for these, right? For these updates just yet?
Yeah, but it was like they say starting March 2019. So new events, quality of life, new rewards, expanded progression system, which I'm kind of intrigued on the progression system, new stronghold, like literally in a month. Guilds, missions, Cataclysm. Cataclysm's like the big question mark. So we had a baby tease of the Shaper Storm or something like that. In one of the days of the beta. So we got to see when the sky goes dark, there's like fireballs falling from the sky, Titans start roaming the earth and stuff kind of goes crazy. So potentially if Cataclysm is like the big giant version of that, I don't know what that means, but I'm curious to find out. A new stronghold coming, like literally it's like, so take a stronghold, picture a strike in Destiny, it's probably similar equation, add another one within a month-ish from launch. If they could do that in March, depending on timing, that's pretty quick. I mean, how long did it take for us to get? We got one more strike probably in December I'm going back D1 year 1. We got Crota. What do we get? One strike with that probably added. Maybe a PlayStation exclusive 2.
Maybe
something like that. So I mean, I looked up before, you had 4 strikes for everybody. You may have had 5 as an exclusive for PlayStation. So if you go for everyone, you had 4. So we have 3. A month later, we might have 4. That's actually not that far apart. Cataclysm is not going to be a raid.
Right.
I'll probably bet money on that one. It's not going to be it's not going to be a raid.
We've conceded that. I mean, and look, I'm gonna take a page out of Kabatsu's book. Anthem just might not be going for that. You know what I'm saying? As much as I would like it to have a raid or whatever, as long as whatever they decide to do, remember what I told you last word, which was if they focus on narrative, right? If it's really cool and it advances the story and we get some cool, learning about what's going on and stuff like that, at the end of the day, I'm cool with it doing what it does and only it does if they continue to do unique things.
I mean that's
you.
That's about right.
Yeah, just be you. Do narrative, do verticality, do Iron Man, do X-Men Storm, you know what I'm saying? Do Warframe Ninja, you know what I'm saying? And Colossus.
Love my Interceptor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Interceptor is lit. Just do you and keep bringing content. And, shout out to Cactus. He's got a great video out right now. And he's like, look, this thing is flawed. He's so honest. He was like, this thing is flawed. It's got a lot of issues. He's like, but he said just what you said. I love to play it. I have a ton of fun playing it. And he said some builds when I saw some of his masterwork stuff, and him and MTash got stuff where as a storm, everything goes into staying in the air and doing double damage. And I'm like, when he was talking about the build, I ain't gonna front. I got excited. I'm like, yo, I got to get into that. I like that, kind of deal. So we'll see, man. That's what I got. But I'll let you finish out Anthem before we get into the next one.
But yeah, so I mean, we've got a future coming. They've already got a plan here, literally like laid out. This is Act 1. There's 2 and 3 that are coming, so it's going to depend on the cadence. But from what we've seen so far, the speed and the changes, the speed and the needed fixes, basically nipping a loot cheese in the butt really fast is good news. Just their response time and everything so far has a lot of promise if they can keep with it. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm sorry for interrupting you. No, all I was saying was agreeing with you. That bodes well for the future. What you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the hope. Is I think this is kind of one of those, like Bungie, the team behind it, you've seen their aspiration of what they want to do, and probably Forsaken was the culmination of that aspiration. It was amazing. Finally got some story with Cade. We got really cool 2 new worlds. We got an in-game world, lots of stuff to do. Really enjoyed Forsaken. Probably like just so good. The people behind Anthem, the passion that you see and what they want to do is there. I've seen it in like the responsiveness, the speed, how much they're interacting with the people. Like their honest feedback saying, "Hey, this is great. Definitely in the pipeline, pretty high on the list. Whatever it is, their transparency has been awesome. And if they can keep that going, if they can keep building on this foundation, it's really, really going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to what it brings because this is a different, War Blackjack in my chat said it well. It's like where Anthem can try over Destiny, especially it's a PvE game. You can go absolutely bonkers because you're not having to worry about balance. As you said, some of those builds are just insane, but that's part of the fun. Now, building in extra mechanics, adding new enemies and things like that, they've literally said, be like, yeah, we're going to be adding new enemies, things like that. They have the ability to just like stick a Lego brick on the side because talking to my brother and stuff like that, the way the game is built, it's so compartmentalized. The systems aren't so interwoven. You can't like rip a blanket apart. It's like a Lego set and you just keep stacking stuff on top and you just keep adding to it. And I think that's going to give it the adaptability of like, hey, there's just the ability for them to say, hey, we got new enemies in the world. Hey, we opened up a new space. Hey, like if they can continue that at a decent clip, I think it's got a lot of potential. So but as you said, is it perfect? No, there are a lot of flaws to the game, but it's an absolute blast and I can't stop playing. It's Shattered Throne this week, so I'm gonna have some time, but if not, I'm definitely gonna be playing as much of this outside of Shattered Throne. But they do have big patch notes, so we'll cover the big ones. Decreased loading times for older disk drives, especially for hard disks of 7200 RPM, 5400 RPM. Depends on what hard drive you have. Those should be better. So that's one thing they said on them. They're like, we should have adapted for that. We're sorry. Should be good. Day one patch. And that's like a pretty quick fix to handle like a hardware level change. Fixed mini infinite load screens, fixing mini challenges not tracking properly. A number of issues have been fixed that were causing players to disconnect or crash. Weapons and gear have numbers present for modifiers. So this is all stuff that was like, it's been there since I've been playing. Most of this but like the old disk drive loading times is like probably one of the higher ones. But loading screens themselves have been shortened. So this has been a thing too. I feel like this isn't the right. I feel like this is what I saw, but hold on. Hold that thought. But I mean, how much? I want to ask you while I'm looking this up. Like, how much have you actually played?
Not much, man. It's just like I said, schedule has just been so brutal for me. All the things I have going on, but the little that I did play was just basic mission structure stuff. Going in. To be honest, I'm so like remember like I didn't play as much of the demo, so I was like. Finally got a chance to really customize and really get busy with the customization. And I got my Storm out here looking like Captain Britain from Excalibur. He's got like my Storm looks like a Union Jack. Like the Union Jack, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting my pure British feel on. And I just love it. Like the blue and red is like opposite USA kind of a deal. And like inverted, I should say. A USA flag kind of a deal. Yeah, and I love it. I was just styling, man. I just love the customization. I was messing around. I had cashed in on my Legion of Dawn stuff because I got the Legion of Dawn pack.
Nice.
And I had got a masterwork. I mean, well, not masterwork, whatever weapon. I was like, this thing is super powered, like this auto rifle that I got. And it was just cool messing around with the other thing I liked is the combo initiators and the combo finishers. I forgot what they call them, like primers, or I forgot what exactly.
Primers and detonators.
Yes. And just learning that aspect. Apparently with this patch, I heard they made things a little bit more visible. Now I'm hoping, let me ask you this question. There's one big negative they got to fix though. There's one thing I cannot stand about Anthem is, besides loading screens, is why is it when you go down, you can't respawn and you're just at the mercy of whoever you're playing with? Please tell me that the patch is going to address that, please.
That one's not there yet. I can tell you that one. But that is definitely a huge high piece of feedback. I've seen them like it's a pretty high lead. Like
unacceptable. Like to play a game and you go down. That's like us playing an iPhone. I go down and that's it. Like if no one doesn't pick me up, that's it. I can't even
just chilling. You can't look at their screen, you can't move, you have just a big red badge on the screen and you're stuck. And that's one of those where I'm like, somebody like you didn't have enough people test and either die or get stuck in that instance where you're just like, this isn't fun.
Like, and I'm
Like, even if
shocked.
you can't get up quickly in a stronghold, you should have like, I mean, it's not a, Grandmaster 3. Like, if it's just normal or hard, I should eventually be able to respawn.
Okay. Yeah, because
Whatever, like that should be a thing.
Philly Eagle, he said they talked about it a bit on their live stream. Yeah,
Okay, I haven't listened to that yet.
it's just a weird design choice. Like,
Mhm.
who said go on that? Like, who sat there and said, you know what? We're gonna penalize the guy that you're gonna suffer. You're gonna sit in the corner, you ain't gonna watch no one screen, you're gonna wait until that's crazy to me. So hopefully that gets addressed. That was one of my little kind of issues or whatever. But and then I heard about without spoiling, there's a big juncture in the quest as you go farther in the
The
campaign.
tombs. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Not a spoiler.
Okay, that requires a grind period. That's a big controversy. We'll get into that a little bit on ILP.
And that did get patched.
Okay, so I heard that got patched. You know what I'm saying?
So they changed where basically it's a tracking of certain things. I won't say too much. And they start the tracking much, much sooner. So any random free playing, any missions you're doing, you're likely to do most of it naturally by the time you get to the point you need to. So they changed that up. Me, I actually had done a decent amount, but if you know me at all, it's like, I'm just going to go roam around on a free play for a little while. If you just streamline this like critical path mission, don't pick up any crafting items, don't do anything at all. There are some things you're probably not going to like hit, and you're probably going to have to go do some world events and go do some free play. And it's opening up free play is basically kind of what it's doing. And if at some points you're just like, hey, let's go roam around on free play for a while, pick up a few chests, do some world events, and go pick up some materials, you'll do most of this naturally. If you just go story, don't touch anything else, and that's it, yeah, that one's probably going to take you a little longer still. But if you play some natural stuff and do those things, yeah, because I was pretty far along anyway. I had to go farm a couple of things, but even there was a point where you needed to pick up a certain number of chests in the open world, but you couldn't do it as a group. So you had to do 15, but you had to get 60 if you had 4 people with you. Well, now, if you're in proximity, you get it. So if you're playing with friends, just make sure they're close. It counts. So stuff like, but I mean, that's like a fundamental way of a quest works. Changed it in like 4 days. So, I mean, it is a good start, but also it's like, yeah, some of the stuff should have been done better. But I mean, if somebody like me played through it and I was just exploring, picking up stuff naturally, if I just spent some time in free play and was like, I just want to roam, explore this world, that would have been stuff that I probably would have been farther along, so maybe less of an issue. But take one of my friends, Doldris. I don't know if you've ever played with him. You probably haven't in a while since he hasn't been on Destiny, but yeah, he will just absolutely streamline just the absolute critical path, skip every cutscene, doesn't give a damn about most things. Just like he will skip a lot of stuff. I mean, he likes Mass Effect, so he really enjoyed those, but generally he just will blow through everything. And he would be the one who'd he had a wall. He said he was like, that was a struggle. And I told him it was fixed later. It was like, that was a wall. Like that's why getting that out for this day, this patch for people going live today was a good thing. So they didn't experience that. So that was one of the biggest ones is the temple, or is the tombs. But I mean, there are certain things when you go through missions, you get stuck behind invisible walls. That stuff's been fixed. But why was it there in the first place? I don't know.
Look.
So I mean, those are the questions. Like, they are fast to fix, but why was it there? That's the question. So that's why it's always, it is fun. There are some frustrating moments because it's flawed, but they are trying to be as fast as they can on some of the stuff. So is it forgivable? No, but I respect them for their speed of their response. So
yeah, absolutely. Just get the speed of the knee spawn down, and then I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the loading screens, like in Fort Tarsus, like if you go into your javelin, it's a small one. If you come back out, it's a little bigger. Why I always have to load in at the bottom of Fort Tarsus and then walk all the way up the stairs and around to my. Why can't I just start at the forge and be like, hey, I want to go? Why is that the hard one? Is it because it's a harder place to load and loading me in a small like area is easier? I don't know, but I feel like you load all of Fort Tarsus anyway.
Why can't we move at 60 frames per second at Fort Tarsus? Why do we have the molasses boots on?
I was like, they're they literally said they buffed it a little bit, and they really did do it a little bit. Like, I don't know why They're like, why you can't move that fast? They're afraid to like break the immersion in Fort Tarsus. I'm like, you could still go like, I swear 100% faster on their sprint
Because
speed, and I'd be like, fine.
Let's be real. It ain't that big a social space.
No, it's not that big. There's more people in. Okay, so here's a point. It
Mhm.
isn't that big, and there's quite a few people in there, but
Mhm.
sometimes the tower is too big.
At least I got the option to run to the other side.
You can run, but I was like, I can
Bro,
go like shortly walk up the stairs, or I can go for like a let me put on my jogging shoes so I can go for a mile jog down to 801.
Let's not be disrespectful to the tower now. Let's
Hey,
not be disrespectful.
if you for some reason, if Zur is in the hangar and you got to go to 801, for one, you can teleport now. But for the longest time, if you had to go from Zur was in the tower and be like, oh, I need to go talk to Hawthorne, that's a long run.
But at least you had the opportunity with
you did get to run. It was like as again, there's different choices and stuff like that. So all of that stuff.
Dude,
but I mean, gear and weapons, they got some damage. They fixed a couple different gun changes. They got the interceptor getting a boost. So
nice.
I mean, they even got like these are like sandbox changes in a week. So like Deadeye has increased spare ammo, Cloudburst has increased damage. These are all different like abilities and stuff like that mostly have been buffed.
Yeah, that's I love that. See, I didn't know it. Now I'm excited to jump back in. Like I didn't realize they did all of this in this 1 week. So that's pretty impressive.
So,
unlike stuff that we know,
like about 4 months on a sandbox patch, and you're like, I am so like have the adaptation, and this is the point where it's like, hey, new patch, hey, new weapons, hey, new like bigger patch, new ability sets are dropping. Like here's a way to like here's a new primer or detonator. Here's something like there's a point where if they did a full. They could do a skill tree for maybe different ultimates. They could have, and that is one of the. It's a completely fundamentally different game. Yeah, Philly said a big one. The Colossus can hold its shield out and res people. That's huge. So I mean, those are big, and that was patched in here as well.
Yeah.
Some of the enemy's shields were so redonkulous, like they were really really beefy. They lowered the shields down, so. Lots of things were changed quickly, and they're okay changing them because guess what? They can change them back quickly too. It seems. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, some of the icons weren't there, which those were fixes. Those are minor, but I'm like, how do you forget icons? As I'm playing an interceptor, I was missing 4 of them, which was like, come on.
Yo, hold on. Gamer Forte said they treat Fort Tarsus like a church. And kids, there's no running in the church.
Or by the pool, no running around the pool. Yeah.
That was great. Shout out.
That's pretty good. So like me as an interceptor, the Colossus can now res with the shield. The interceptor, my combo aura, which is half of what I do, is much more powerful, wider, has a damage tick, so I can actually see what it's doing. Like they're taking feedback saying, "Hey, interceptor can't see it. It doesn't last that long." Done. Nice. Colossus no longer is being knocked out of the sky in some situations. Now, that brings up a point. There are times when I feel like, and that's one thing Destiny does really, really well, is your feedback from the game is proper. It's not too much, but it's not too little. Like, I don't know where a shot came from, and I'm almost out of health.
Yeah, I agree. I have that problem with that, yes.
Yeah, and that's the point. I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm always getting down to this like 1 health, and I mean, shout out to Skill Up. He had a lot of flaws to say with the game, and it's like, and honestly, I told you, I was like, I can't argue with a ton of them.
Yeah.
I still have fun in it. I wouldn't say if you're on the fence about it, I'd say wait a month, and then it's probably going to continue to get better. But in turn, some of those things where it's like you don't have the feedback of where a shot came from, the hit registration sometimes is either too quick, you don't feel the bullet, all those things, and all of a sudden just my health keeps going away and it's gone, and then I have to try and go run and hide. We have no healing abilities, and you have to go pick up your little health packs, but if I'm in a fight and as an interceptor I have to keep killing, I have no like occasional just heal pop, and it's one of those things almost every class probably needs in some way for those moments. Maybe not that often, but just occasional like, hey, let me get an extra shield pop. You can't use it that often to break it, but you need some way to help survive.
I agree.
So, but yeah, those shield dropping, the like shots out of nowhere, or when I'm fighting a Titan and he does the little like explodey ball that spawns in front of me, I literally have to be as fast as possible to dodge and jump backwards at the same time as an interceptor, because I can dodge and just like the blast radius of the little fire orb, not the ones that fly even, which are hard enough to dodge, the ones that spawn near you, and I'll literally dodge, which is a decent movement, and I still get set on fire and burning and have to go hide again. So there's some frustration to the combat, but also there's some amazing parts to the combat. So it's far from perfect.
It's far from perfect. Exactly. Listen, I just like I said, the cadence. I like that they're on it. You know what I'm saying? So as long as they just keep this up, I'm good with that.
But yeah, I mean, combo, like that's kind of the thing. I'll kind of wrap it up here because you guys can read the patch notes if you want to. I don't need to bore you with all those. I've skipped a lot of them anyway. If you're like, hey, I'm gonna run with even just my brother, and you can matchmake in with other 2 people. He's going to run flamethrower and venom spray. Well, he doesn't have venom, but he's got flamethrower and one other thing. And he's going to be like, hey, actually, I think he does have venom. I'm going to prime all these people, set them up. You hang near me. We're going to melt everybody down. Cool. Like, and I can go full detonators where everything I do is going to explode everything, cause the combos to go off, and we're just trading the whole time. That pairing is so much fun.
Yes.
The combo ting is like, that's one of those sound effects they nailed. There are certain things that are like, okay, the sound effects are like the hit registration, not as cool, but that combo ping sounds good every time.
Yes.
And that's like that's the satisfaction of like shooting off a head in Destiny. The combo ping has that same like psychological, just little peck. Like it's there.
Psychological acknowledgement where it just feels good. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
So if you're on the fence about it and you're not sure what the future is going to be, wait. That's all I can say. Me, I'm having a ton of fun because you've got different abilities. And that's the thing. You'll get a new legendary gun with this ability, and you're like, well, I'm going to change up my build. Or I got a legendary, ice blast for my storm. And it's like, okay, now I got to use this thing, but now I got to pair up something different. And it's going to change the way you play. And you just have more variety in how you play for sure. So it's got a whole lot to it. There's a decent amount of fun. The story's kind of cool. Voice acting's really good. Fort Tarsus needs some tweaks. The loading screens and going back in the forge and like not getting your, the loot questions are ups and downs. But overall, it's a fun start, and I'm very intrigued to see where it goes. But as I said, flawed but fun. That's pretty much my short summary.
That's literally what's going on. And like you said, for people on the fence, hey, wait, see what see them improve the things that you need improving. You know what I'm saying? And if not, and if you, like I said, if you want to give it a shot and you want to play something drastically different out of the 3 looter shooters, Anthem is the game. It's clear. Shout out to Dizzy. He says primary. He said, I'm a Warlock in Destiny, so you got to be maining his Storm. I agree. I think Warlocks, if you're on Anthem, you got to touch Storm. It's the closest, I would say. You know what I'm saying? As far as look-wise, they definitely played there a little different. But, I definitely like the character. And he loves his sniper, because of the distance. He's all about his range. He's all about his range. So, yeah, Storm's a big favorite, I see. But low-key range is good, too, man. Everyone's good. They all got their unique style, man. So, like I said, if you're on the fence, give it a shot. Give it a shot. I would definitely.
I was like, if you're on PC, go get Origin Access for a month. $15. Check it out.
If you're on Xbox, get EA Access.
Yep. Take your 10 hours and see how it feels.
Yeah, see how it goes. And that's it.
PlayStation, that one I can't help. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think one more piece too, because you said it, is there are different classes. They feel completely different. The Storm is never like the Storm and the Interceptor are about as far apart as you can get. Storm is literally like the eye in the sky dropping ice bombs on people, and I'm up there slashing with knives. I'm using things like, assault rifles and machine guns and heavy pistols, and the dude up in the sky is using a sniper rifle and a marksman rifle because you're not in the mix and you're not going to be accurate from that far away, and you're not meant to be. You're literally meant to play the game differently as different styles, and I love that. So, yeah, I'm loving my Interceptor. I switched over to Ranger just to mix up using a different class for my stream so I don't make them throw up. I will definitely say, like, I know me playing the Interceptor, and I can watch it, and I know what I'm literally anticipating doing in my head. So I know when I turn the screen and I move and I dodge and I jump over this thing and I do this and jump back over, I'm like, I know what I'm doing in my head, so it doesn't hurt my head. But I literally can't quite imagine watching stream. They've got to be like, "Oh, I'm getting motion sick over here." It's a lot to watch.
It's a lot. It's very busy.
But yeah, there's one more piece, guys, that we do need to talk about because I've been waiting so much time here on Anthem, and you're sitting over there chomping at the bit. I can hear you. You're like, yeah, that's enough Anthem. That's enough Anthem. Let's talk.
He's just gonna run my shot clock out. Nah, good.
Delay of game.
I gotta be
flag.
I gotta be fair. I know Anthem is out right now, so it's gonna get all the love. But you know what my favorite of the new ones is?
Division 2. Division 2.
Sir. Yes, sir.
There we go. We up.
That's right.
All right. So I talked for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you take this.
Oh my God, Dizzy, you are so petty. He said the last word's finished now, or I'm out. Good show.
You are so petty. You a hard time. Thank you, Dizzy, for
petty
the support over there.
Anyhow, for those agents that still listening, yeah, man, like they dropped the trailer. They had dropped the Endgame trailer out. Did you get a chance to see it?
Yes, I did watch it.
Okay, cool. So
couple things I saw in there too. So
yeah, so it was cool. They pretty much kind of talked about Black Tusk, and me personally, I just think it's really dope, and only from the standpoint of once the main campaign, the main game is finished, a new faction arrives, and that is the Black Tusk. That's the one that has like the robot dogs. You know what I'm saying? If you look at that picture in the bottom left where it says invaded missions, they have some weapons like that, heavy, highly tactical kind of guys, very different play style faction, and thought that's cool. They take over the map. There's invaded missions where now it kind of makes the older content fresh. So I did like that. And as they were continuing on that trailer, they showed raid, and I quote, raid number 1.
Well, yeah, you said there was 2.
So. Yeah, well, I don't even know if there's 2. I mean, I know there were multiple, right? But I didn't know how many. So I'm just happy to see that there's an additional raid, right? So when I see raid number 1, that just denotes to me, okay, boom, we are doing raids in Division now. So now we got a name, Operation Dark Hours. Now they didn't show much, but they did show. Was that an airport? What were they going to? Did you see like they
literally said an airport?
Okay, cool. Maybe I'm
look at the. Do you see the picture on screen?
Yes, but it's kind of not clear. So I wasn't.
So the idea is this is a giant jetliner, so it's an airport.
Oh, okay. So I am very curious about this. This is new territory for the division. They didn't have raids before. They showed a cinematic of all 8 players.
I was about to ask you how many people, but you just literally answered it.
8 players walking in together into this new zone. So I'm so hyped just to see. I'm just hyped to see. I'm not saying, Destiny kill. No, you're not getting that out of my mouth. No. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what this is, but I'm excited that they're doing it, that they're attempting it. And I got some cool ideas in my head. Hopefully I don't have my expectations too high. You know what I'm saying? But maybe they split the guys up, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I'm just hyped for that. So we see that. We've seen the specializations. They showed that in the trailer. So basically, end game leveling. Once you get past the cap, almost in the evolution of your character, you get to pick, these different styles. I forget the names off top. Do you remember off top the was it the demolition,
sharpshooter, like demolition? I forget the 3. One's got the explosive crossbow, one's got the grenade launcher, one's got the sniper. So
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, shout out to M-Bond. He said, so looking forward to this game. It's funny how things have changed. Dev and pubs know with this type of game, you have to advertise the end. It's funny you say that, M-Bond, because to me, this is strategic. I'm going to get a little deeper. They know Anthem's here, right? They're paying attention. You know what I'm saying? They've been paying attention to Destiny. They have been paying attention to what, they've had a year to cook and learn from the mistakes and get better. And I just felt it was so strong of them. Just from a mark, whether you like the game or not, you got to give credit to the marketing team, right? The marketing said, you know what? The Anthem's getting killed right now because of Endgame. Because if you look at the top streamers, a lot of them say, hey, the Endgame's boring or repetitive or whatever their gripes are. And to come out with a trailer with all of this Endgame content, listing it, kudos to the marketing team. They're petty. I love them already. Shout out to the marketing team for being petty and sensing weakness. Because they were like, show them the footage. Release the info blast. I thought it was cool, man. Look at the stuff on the right. You know, you got living world activities, main and side missions, faction strongholds, base of operation projects, settlement projects, clan, that's good, clan projects. I'm dying to know how clans work. Priority target network, occupied dark zone, conflict modes. We know a new stronghold, high end gear, weapon, 5 world tiers. I want to know what's more about that in depth. They've got a lot of stuff going on, man. And I'll give it to you after I'm done rambling, which is this is really creative, Dizzy. I don't care what you say. And at the end of the day, man, like it is just a lot to do. You know what I'm saying? And they're coming. They're coming. Again, this might not be for everybody. I get it. Some people, the minute you hear tactical and you hear boots on the ground, they don't want to have nothing to do. But I know there is a lot of people that do love that aspect. And the division has a ravenous, loyal fan base. And to see them bounce back in this fashion, which with a so far good, strong foundation, and we got the March coming up, we shall see. So I thought this was cool, you know, and I'll give it to you. I know you are not on the division train like that, but I was curious to see. I guess my question to you is, with the trailer, did anything change, or was it like, still that old division crap? Be honest. What was your feeling when you saw the trailer?
And so I saw I probably basically called it, actually. One of the larger boss type enemies. It's a big ass 4-blade helicopter.
Yes, you saw the helicopter.
I called a helicopter boss.
You called it.
It's like, go back a week. It was there.
Bullet sponge. We got big vehicle.
Yeah, bigger vehicles. Like, how big can they get? You're gonna have like a Avengers like helicarrier eventually, but no, I mean, like, honestly, a lot of things they're doing give the world a new coat of paint in a way that will take something you've probably grinded before and at least make it feel somewhat different, even if it is more of, you know, it's still a tactical shooter. You're going to take a new faction. You're going to give them some different AI, different enemies to fight, more like aggressive AI and all those things in all your mission. Like, you know, take Destiny, take Anthem, whatever you're going to do. If you're going to go back and play missions, how are you going to play them? Are you going to play them with new enemies in this one? Yeah, you're going to play new, different enemies. Now, how different do they feel? Well, from the guys on the street versus the tactical guys with robot dogs, that's probably fairly different. I don't even know what the strongholds are, so see what that is.
The facts we haven't seen. All we've seen is the hyenas in the demo, and apparently there are 2 other factions and Black Tusk.
Yeah, Black Tusk is the end faction,
right? And apparently, all 3 have behavioral differences. And this is, again, I hate to interrupt you, I just want to make one good point for the division haters in the chat. The thing that I like is what makes Destiny cool is Cabal, Fallen, Vex, the enemy types and behaviors. Yep. Now, are they that extensive in their aliens? No. But what's cool is with Division, at least you're not, I feel they have this advantage over Anthem. I feel the scars are kind of generic, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a fan of Anthem's enemy outside of the big troll dudes. Those are dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you got the bigger enemies, whether it's the tanks, you got the bigger enemies have cool variety. The smaller ones feel throwaway. I agree with that.
Yeah, they feel like, okay, whatever.
I was like, whether it's the big, like, trolley guys, or you get, I will say, one small guy who will mess you up, though, go any elementalist type person, the floaty, like the enemy storm type. Those will mess you up. I don't care what class you are, you're in trouble. Absolutely. So those are, and then like the machine gun guys, just the little, they're like Thrall. I mean, they are like the throwaway, like little melee guys or little pea shooters. Like, they're not going to be doing too much, and those for sure. But it's like, as you get to the bigger ones, and that's kind of the thing you get to hear. Like, you'll have, so like on the screen for the invaded missions, you'll see, You have your more tactical guy with his, like, assault rifle. You'll have your big minigunner, it looks like. You have your robot dog, but you don't have like some giant Colossus suit man walking around. And there's just a difference in what you can do in realism and tactical versus sci-fi. And that's where it's a preference thing more than anything. Whether you like it or not, that's literally just your preference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, all I'm talking about is faction and behavioral differences and things of that nature.
And that's really cool. I like that.
That's all I'm saying. So yeah, look, I just thought this was a cool little marketing thing. We'll see. We'll see. But the specialization is cool for Endgame. And I'm very curious, because I heard it's very extensive from all accounts that I've heard as far as customization and how you want to keep building and your character post Endgame. I'm dying to touch all that stuff out, man. So I'm ready, man. We got, what was it? March 1st, I believe. We have the public beta.
March 1st through 4th. Yeah, something like that. It's that. Yeah, I think it's the Friday through probably like March 4th at like 3 a.m. or whatever. It's probably right through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that open beta through the weekend. That's probably the same thing we got in the private beta. I imagine they're not just going to do a new beta. They may have some patches in there and tweaks and stuff like that. Did you play the private, didn't you? Did you play the Endgame mission?
I had started the the Black Test. I didn't get a chance to finish it. I actually had to run out. But yeah, I liked what I saw. You know what I'm saying? I definitely, the behavior was different, and I liked that. You know what I'm saying? When I saw robot dogs, I got excited. To be honest, because I didn't think Division would ever go anything past human kind of stuff. So I'm like, all right, we're thinking outside the box. You know what I'm saying? And they were very aggressive. It was a different AI situation going on. They were trying to get me up out of cover. They were doing different things. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Again, a lot of things to do. We shall see how that raid is. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, if they knock that raid out the park, oh boy,
that'll be interesting. Because they have a huge like egg on their face from the first incursion. That thing came out and not fun. Like, so if they do this right, if they have, and that's again how, Boston Dynamics. Thank you, Dizzy, for those little robots. It's exactly what they look like.
Nice.
Pretty much copied and pasted, just painted black.
Like I said, nice, but they got more variety than other enemy types in other games. You know what I'm saying? So again, I get I don't know where the blind hate is coming from with Dizzy. He's just going extra.
Oh, he's just going hardcore. It's hilarious.
Anything Ubisoft is like, Ubisoft literally has all the best games right now. Like literally, like every genre they've improved. So you can say what you want, but oh, that's right. You like Ark, Dizzy. My bad. Continue. We know how that is in the wild card, guys. Yeah. I got to give him flack. He's been trolling for too many weeks. I got to fire off on him this week. we don't respect the Ark users in here. But anyway, enough about that.
But yeah, it's like you take like an airport setting. Do you work through the terminals first? Do you have like a big food court fight out? Do you get to like on the actual tarmac where you're like working around planes? Is there, I mean, how, you're on an airport, so are there military, is it big helicopters? Like, what are you fighting? And that's going to be the big question is like, what are you fighting? What mechanics are in there? I mean, you take Destiny raid teams. I mean, they're going World of Warcraft level at some points. They're maybe not quite, but they definitely have some amazing mechanics and changes and variety. So that will be the biggest question, is to see if that's worth the grind for. Because, 5 different world tiers, that's just difficulty levels similarly. Your high-end gear and weapons. I don't even remember. And that's one thing we've said even about Destiny. I don't remember a named weapon from Division 1. I didn't play it as much, so I fell off. So I'm sure there were some.
They had it.
Oh no, I know they did. I'm just saying I don't remember a name of one. And you can spout off Galahorn, Last Word, Thorn, all that stuff because there was like an attachment. So they do have sets. They have bonuses, which is something I wish a lot of things had, because those getting the combination of like sets of armor does benefits, which I like those pieces. And it's just going to be, does the feel of it honestly feel good? And that's one thing I'm just going to have to spend some time in, because the demo is not going to do it for me. I'm sure I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to play it. I'm going to work my way through the story.
You do not seem enthused.
What?
No, I'm surprised you're even gonna get it because you don't really seem enthused. You
I mean,
talk about
I played the first one and I had a lot of fun leveling up 1 through 30. And then and then the previous one was like I hit the Dark Zone wall and it sucked. It
right.
really, really burned me hard because like me as a solo player, even with like 2 people, we'd be running around working stuff, kind of going down in the subway system in New York and found these heavy guys and working with our cover and using our abilities. Like there are some things about it that were really, really fun.
Mhm.
For me, when I was saying, just like I don't know if it was the mobility or I'm just used to other games. It felt different in D2
Yeah.
or Division 2. So me, I've just got to see if I just get past that.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it has a lot of potential because you have the level up, you have the black test takeover, you have the invaded missions.
Mhm.
Again, it's the point of when we went through, um, like the previous part, experience the missions for the first time was cool. It was like, how does it feel? How does the sponginess feel? How do the ads feel? And how does it go? Because that's for all of these things. Like when I go through and I'm fighting like multiple ads, but I'm like, do I sit behind this wall for 6 hours?
Mhm.
You guys come at me, okay, punching here, punching here. It's like I just want to see how it feels once I'm actually in the swing of it. So I think it's just going to take the full thing for me.
You ain't you ain't got a lot of me. I know you. You are not in. It's cool. It's good.
No, it's like I am
same
skeptical in my attachment level
I'm just
because
saying
of
on Anthem's Endgame is the same way you're not in on Division. And I
yeah.
get it.
So I was like, we got both sides. I will play it because I want to be able to talk about it. But I was like, my excitement for it at this point, when I stepped in, it's still Division and Anthem is new. So
Mhm.
there's like the shiny coat of paint on Anthem, and maybe that will wear off. If Act One,
Yeah,
if
we'll
Act One is like 3 months and it's like the Cataclysm's coming in June, and we're like, oh man, that's going to be a while. This may fill a huge hole that may be like, hey, I got this, I got raids, I got more, and then I may get hyped. But I was like, right now, I just got to I want my hands on the full game
Mhm.
before I get my expectations too high. So I'm reserving myself for a change on this one
Yeah, absolutely.
to counter you, if nothing else.
No, my thing is I'm super excited. And like I said, at the end of the day, nothing's gonna stop my excitement for this. They've literally answered every problem I have had with Division One. I was not a Division One fan. That's what's so funny about this whole thing. I'm kind of like become the champion for Division out of nowhere, which is weird because I hated Division One. Like I did not after I was the same thing. I beat the first part of it, campaign, did not like the whatever incursion or whatever it was called, dropped it like a bad habit. And then I remember it was Sinister told me about a couple updates. I'm like, okay. And then he got me to play survival. And when I played survival, then I go, oh, okay, I like this. This is what it should have been. Like this, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Then I played another incursion after, and it was way better. And I'm like, okay. And then everything seemed to improve. And I'm just like, yo, towards the end, like this game is really good now. So, that to me coming in with the momentum, I'm very excited about that. But I'm just honestly, I get tired of doing the same exact thing. And like I said, if back to your point with the shiny can of paint, you know, if Anthem doesn't do what they do, which is as far as great narrative campaign, and it's just like, okay, we're just going to add a stronghold here. I'm going to fade out. I know me. I'm going to fade out because at some point, there's only so much PVE you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? At some
Yeah,
point,
I mean, and that is true. And that's the big test.
yeah, like I know myself. It's like playing. Let's just put it to Destiny. If all there was strikes, no gambit, no PvP, no, if there was just strikes and nightfall, and that's it, strikes and nightfall, strike, and we're adding one more new strike. Okay, cool. I'm gonna drop it. Like there's nothing else to do. There's no raid, there's no PvP. Again, so I get the whole Iron Man thing. I get it, I get it, I get it. But for those who continue to slander Division, diversity and variety is the spice of life. That's what keeps it. I know it. I've seen games die, man. I've seen it. I'm not saying Anthem is, but I'm just saying I know. I have a strong assumption of who's gonna win the end game if BioWare don't do other things. That's all I'm saying. So we can rip. Not you. I'm going after people that don't like.
No,
Yeah,
you're fine.
we can rip it. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll revisit this 6 months and I have no problem telling those that were hating, I told you so. So I will be back. I'll take my slander, but I will be back, and we will date it to whatever month Cog was on. Cog's last stand for division. And we'll see. Yes, we'll see. Listen, trust. I'm good at this because I've had this conversation with people who hated on Destiny. People who hated on every game that comes. Oh, this is the Destiny killer. Once they throw Destiny killer on it, it's over. Like I've seen it. So Bungie's been yet to be dethroned on that, and I'm curious to see what happens with these looter shooters. But enough rambling. This is a fun time. 3 great games, all for your different, preference. If you want to, get your space magic on, you know what to do with the good gunplay, good end game. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get that new hotness flying around, you know what I mean? Doing that great Iron Man stuff, great abilities, great synergy. You know what I mean? Boom. Anthem is that game and the narrative that you like, characters that you may like more. If you want your tactical, you want your military, you want your gear sets, you want your mid-maxing, you want a lot of different activities to do. You know what I'm saying? And if you like immersing yourself in a world where you take back the world, so to speak, then yeah, Division's for you. The cool thing is, listen, man, shout out to Philly Eagle, only Bungie could kill Destiny. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got on it. But this is fun, man. I like the beginning because everybody's competitive.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see 2 come out so close that will be compared, but in the grand scheme, somewhat comparable, somewhat not. One is very PvE, one is very much like to a point of almost both. But as you said, you got variety in Division, which will potentially give it legs that Anthem may not have if they don't have a long pipeline full of content.
Yeah,
and that'll be the big one. And it's like for me, Division 2 not having survival, that may be a free update later, but that's one of the ones I was looking forward to, and it's not there. I wanted survival because that was like, I played it a few times and that was fun.
That was really good.
Yeah, so they've got more. I'm sure they'll bring back some of that stuff like the underground and survival and those pieces later. But for now, if you're a gamer, good luck finding time to sleep.
Yeah, your life is old.
That's about it. So, yeah, Season of the Drifter next week. Watch Bungie. Watch their Twitter. Vidocs may be coming. TWAB will be hopefully full. Yeah. If it's a light TWAB, we in trouble. But yeah, if you're playing Anthem, enjoy it. Have fun, even if it's flawed. Yeah, mix it up. Throw some lightning down. Be a ninja. Division's coming. You're going to hold down that cover and you're going to pop some heads. So either way, my voice is pretty much out.
Yes, we got to get this man out of here. He's got a Zerv video.
Yes, indeed. About 23 minutes. So have yourselves an awesome one, guys. I am out. It's Ebontis everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Ebontis, follow, like, all the good subscribes. For you, sir.
Yeah, man. Lord Cognito, you already know, on Twitter and the Iron Lord podcast on YouTube. Please, whatever you do, episode 100. It was episode 50 of The Last Word, and now it's episode 100 of the Iron Lord podcast. We have got some special things to announce. Please tune in with it if you can, if you have the time. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Iron Lord Podcast YouTube channel. It should be a fun show. We will have Mr. Boomstick XL, a little extra guest as well. We won't say who he is. He knows who he is. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun show. We're gonna really talk about topics. There might be some Anthem slander, and that's not from me. That's from King. I'm just warning y'all now. King might have a topic. I'm just giving y'all a little preview, you know what I'm saying, about Metacritic scores and whatever. I'm just warning y'all. So it's not coming from me, but we'll have some good topics. We'll talk about everything that's going on in the industry. You know, Reggie feels amazing retirement, a couple other things, but we will have a monster big announcement, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. And Ebontis chat, man, you guys have been doing great and showing me support. I really appreciate that as well. And ILP Faithful, you already know what it is. But yeah, man, that's all I got. Everybody, please enjoy, man. These some great games. Anthem launches today. Please, man, check it out. If you're on the fence, pick up that EA Access, pick up that Orange and Premier, touch the game, judge for yourself. Do not get too worked up about reviews, because at the end of the day, what's fun to you is important. And that's all I got.
Well, that's all I got too. So on that one, have yourselves an awesome weekend. Try and sleep somewhere and just have some fun. Whatever you like playing, I think that's where we'll leave it.
Exactly.
Whatever you find fun, play it. Don't let anybody tell you different. Scores, reviews, a friend. If you're having fun, play your games.
There you go, man. Everybody enjoy.
We're out.